This was
Daily, yeah.
a fun weekend. I have come to accept like what's going on with my team. So now I'm just enjoying the season. There's a lot of interesting matchups that are coming up, and just a lot of different things. I didn't pull up the rankings this week. I just realized you got the
I,
rankings.
I do. Enable the screen share and I'll pull it up. I am not happy with fucking my team.
I'm not happy with it, but I'm just like, this is where we are. At
We should be 6-0. Like realistically.
least didn't get blown the fuck out.
True. That's one bright side. The rankings are pretty interesting for the week.
You should let you screen share.
How's that? Can you see it?
Yeah, we got James Madison at 25. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people aren't super happy with that one.
Like they're mad that they're so down, or they're mad that they're not high, or they're mad that they're in there at all.
I think people are just kind of upset that they're in their period.
Well,
Just like I think it's their first years in the FBS. And they haven't really played anybody, so they've actually played nobody.
I mean that's true, but I mean 5-0. I
Although
mean
like
it's 25. It's not like they're putting them at like number 5 or some shit. It's 25.
yeah, I mean, and you also got to look at the other teams kind of below them. Like, I mean, North Carolina did beat Miami, but I think North Carolina's 3-2.
I think they lost this last weekend.
Did they?
They either lost this past one or the weekend before, where they were close to it.
Yeah, I mean they've won their last two. They've lost to Notre Dame.
Notre
Okay, so they're
Dame.
5-1.
Oh no,
I would
they're trailing behind Miami at a certain point.
I would rather have them over James Madison in that spot right there. And then you got Baylor sitting there. They have a 3-2 record, so North Carolina is better. And I don't think Baylor's beat anybody that would warrant them being in over North Carolina. I think
What are the
Coastal
rankings on the
Carolina.
right?
This is the coaches poll.
Okay.
BYU just lost, so I don't know why you would have why they're getting so many votes. I think they're 3-2. They were sitting right around here. I think they were at 17, if I'm not mistaken. Notre Dame's 3-2. I think they got a big game this week. There's a lot of big games this week.
Who did Notre Dame just beat last weekend? Like it was somebody good.
Maybe BYU.
Yeah. So I mean, like Notre Dame's they're on the up and up. They're probably gonna get that W against Stanford. They're probably gonna beat UNLV. Syracuse, that'll be the game that kind of brings them back in the top 25, probably.
I think they lose to Syracuse. I don't see them beating them.
They got a hell of a stretch at the end of the season.
Syracuse is hot, man. They got a fucking grown ass man at QB.
I haven't been able to watch them yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about them. Where is Syracuse sitting at 18? So I mean they're climbing up. Kentucky, I kind of feel like if like Kentucky was in a different conference, they would have completely dropped out of the top 25 for that loss.
I think so too. I don't know. I like Kentucky, man. Like Will Levis, I really like him, but I think he's a really good QB. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Who did they lose to? It was Ole Miss last weekend.
And then this weekend
South Carolina.
Lost to, Spencer Rattler and then.
How do you lose to South Carolina, brother? South Carolina's dog shit this year. That's crazy.
They're a terrible team. So I don't like. I feel like Kentucky probably should have dropped out of the top 25. K-State moved up. It looks like, which is a little weird considering they barely beat Iowa State. It was like 10-9.
Yeah, I think they should have. I would put Syracuse. I don't know how they're over Syracuse.
Yeah, with a loss too.
Yeah, it's crazy. South Carolina beating ranked Kentucky gets them only 12 votes.
They've been ass this whole year. Now y'all want to give them votes because they beat one fucking good team.
You hate to see it, but I don't know. This whole fucking all this is just a goddamn mess. You can interchange a lot of these teams. Like, man, Utah, I'm so sad, bro.
I was so hyped. UCLA
I
beating the
really,
brakes off them.
I really thought Utah was gonna go in there and lay the fucking ass whooping down. They're not it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
They're not it
they
this
got
year.
USC next week though.
I think they lose that game too.
I think they win it.
They didn't look good at all playing UCLA like that. It was running on like 3rd and 9. Like unless you're planning on going for it, like why the fuck are you running the ball on like 3rd and long?
UCLA's got a legit defense, man. They're a tough
UCLA
team all
looks
around.
good. I
Kansas is fair. I mean, their quarterback was out, so I think you can't really count that loss too much. Yeah, they
they
didn't
didn't
drop.
even move. Yeah,
You
I'm
can't
cool
count
with
that too much against them. Like they almost won with their backup. And yeah, we're getting to see Kansas live this weekend, so we'll see how they play out. See if Daniels is back. I haven't looked too much at his status.
I think he's got some sort of shoulder injury. I think the reason Syracuse is not, up here is they have not played really anybody yet. So that's kind of like, yeah, they're in a fair spot for what they've put out.
I think Kansas State is actually way too highly ranked if you consider the fact that their big win of the year was against Oklahoma, who has now lost 3 straight in like convincing fashion. That Oklahoma win isn't that impressive for Kansas State anymore. Then them barely beating Iowa State. I'm not saying they're not a good team and that they are a good team, but they should be behind a few of these teams.
I like how NC State drops a rank just because they barely beat us with the. Oh my god, they should have lost. I'd fucking move them down here.
We'll get into that too because there's a lot to say about that game once we get around to it.
NC State looked like dog shit. TCU, man, TCU looks good.
They are, I would say, high. I mean, you can't call them the favorite to win the Big 12, but I'd say like behind Oklahoma State, you're probably looking at TCU.
TCU looks good. I'm impressed. Max Dugan is balling. Man's a stud.
Oregon plays UCLA this weekend, so the winner of that is definitely going to move into the top 10.
There's so many big games this weekend, like Tennessee and Bama. It's like a game day there. Like shit, bro. There's a lot of like heavyweight matchups. Like this is like the weekend we've been like waiting for. This is when we find out really about a lot of these top teams.
Yeah, like I feel like we've been getting really close the past few weeks of like fully understanding. I think after this weekend, like we know
teams are starting to roll into their conference, like their good conference schedules, actually playing the better teams in their conference compared to the bottom feeders and their cupcake non-conference schedules. So I think Penn State and Michigan play this weekend.
Yeah, I believe so.
What's next weekend?
It's either Ohio State or
yeah, it is. Sheesh.
All right, that's going to be a game. I mean,
so
I think
weekend,
Michigan runs away with that.
So this weekend, there's going to be a lot of movement. You got Alabama, Tennessee. Oh, we'll go through the rest of the rankings first, and then we'll kind of get into some upcoming matchups. I don't want to get too off. We about to just scared. That's my fault. It's my fault. I'm honestly cool with Tennessee jumping USC and OSU. Tennessee looks good. USC they handled their business. OSU was in a fucking shootout against a first collegiate start quarterback. That man
Their
was
offense
cooking.
is looking good. Like the OSU offense is looking good, but the defense hasn't really looked that great this season. I'm just there. I think they play. Do they play Texas this weekend, or is it TCU? They play one of the two teams.
I think it's TCU.
And
yeah, another fucking heavyweight matchup, and then Texas, and then K-State, and then Kansas. Like holy shit, bro! Like OSU, like I think they have like one of the tougher schedules based on like how like the teams are doing.
I think they could lose. I think they could lose in back-to-back weeks. Honestly, like look at that. 100%. Looking at that Texas team, like with Ewers, it's a completely different team.
Quinn Ewers is a fucking goat. That dude's crazy. He's crazy good. Like, granted, he wasn't getting pressured a lot, but fuck, man, that dude is money.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was hard to watch, but yeah, he's a baller. Next year, I'm sure he'll be like a Heisman favorite. kind of got screwed getting hurt this season, but
I think he could still climb his way back up in there.
I mean it's not the field's still pretty wide open at this moment.
Yeah.
It's narrowing a little bit, but it's still open.
Yeah.
We could get into our top six.
I
I'll go with
think
mine first because this is the first time this season I agree with the whole entire thing, not order, but all six of those teams I'd have in my top six.
Oh, let me turn my brightness up on my phone. I can't see shit. Let me double check because I think mine is the. Yeah, my whole top six is the exact same. It's
In the
just
order, or is
no, it's I got a different order. Yeah.
I got Ohio State at 1. Is that who you got?
Yep.
Okay, I got Clemson at 2. Who you got at 2?
I got Georgia.
All right, I got Alabama at 3. You got Bama at 3, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And I got Georgia at 4. That's probably where you got Clemson or Tennessee.
Yeah, I think I've had Clemson at 4 for a hot bit.
Then I got Tennessee jumping Michigan at 5 because Michigan struggled a little bit, and I got Michigan at 6.
Yeah, so ours are pretty similar. Minus
just flop 2 and 4, and then
yeah, 100%. So I like it. Yeah, Tennessee has looked way better than Michigan, and I think they've played better teams. So I don't really know how Michigan is over Tennessee.
Brand name.
Granted, points wise, it's not a huge difference here. Whether or not this fucking means anything, which it really doesn't. Yeah, I would put them over them. I mean, you could even maybe argue put them over Clemson. Clemson really has only played NC State
and Wake Forest.
Oh, true. I forget about Wake Forest.
They got 2 ranked wins. That's why I have them a little bit higher.
Okay, fair. Well, I mean, but Tennessee's beaten Florida and LSU. LSU, granted, was ranked like 25, and Florida was a top 15 team, if I'm not mistaken. They might have been 15 to 20 range, but
yeah, they're pretty high up at the beginning of the season. I mean, Bama has looked pretty good. I mean, you could, have them like at 2, like if you really wanted to. But they struggled against A&M. I mean, granted, they didn't have Bryce Young, but it was close. Yeah, like if A&M was a competent team, like offensively, they would have
lost. Yeah, I think Alabama has a fucking asterisk here. They should be fucking 4-2. If minus the Quinn Ewers injury, and I can't even say that minus it'd be 5-1 because Texas. I can't say anything for Texas A&M. They're just ass.
That's a terrible team. Ohio State. I mean, I don't see how Ohio State's not 1. Ohio State to me is leaps and bounds better than every team in the country based on what they've shown so far. I mean, we'll have to see once they start playing better competition, but they've handled their business.
Through the first 6 games, they look like the most complete team. Like we was saying that about Georgia earlier in the season, but as Georgia's kind of went along, they've dipped down a little bit. They've had 2 semi-close games, almost losing to Missouri. And then that Kent State win, which was kind of close. Not really, it's 2 scores, but still, you should be blowing out Kent State. They're the defending champions. Ohio State is putting like 50 minimum on everybody other than Notre Dame. Let's see. 45, 77, 52, 49, 49. Like that's fucking gross. Absolutely gross.
Damn.
This one right here, I expect them. Well, Iowa has a pretty decent defense, but this might be
put up like 35.
This might be 40-0.
Yeah.
Because Iowa has the worst offense in the entire country. I think some of these teams might beat Iowa.
Iowa's not good offensively. I feel like we're gonna be talking about Iowa again, but I don't know. Maybe.
I think all these teams beat Iowa. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe I don't know. I'd like to see one or two.
Speaking
of
these teams. Of Jackson State, did you see where the coach got fucking mad at Dion and wouldn't shake his hand and shit at the end of the game?
No, I didn't.
It was fucking stupid. I can't remember who they play. Let's see if I could recognize any of these names.
Alabama State. Are that where they ranked?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I don't see him. They're probably one of these bottom feeder FCS.
He was mad. Like the coach was mad as fuck, and Dion didn't even do anything. He just shook his hand and he pushed him back, don't shake my fucking hand, and walked off. And Dion's just standing there what the fuck? What did I do besides beat you?
FCS, I don't get. How do you get a 5-1 team at number 1 and you got undefeated teams below them?
It's like they got the Bama fucking thing going for them. They're the Bama of fucking FCS.
Who didn't know what they're gonna stay lose to? That might. Arizona. Okay, they lost to an FBS team. That makes sense.
Fair enough, and barely at that.
I understand. What about who's Montana play? They beat anybody to maybe no, they beat nobody to jump them. Okay, I get it now.
They only lost. Yeah, they barely lost to Arizona. Granted, Arizona is ass, but they are like in FBS.
Yeah, fair. Arizona's not a terrible team. A lot of people thought Arizona was going to upset. Who did they play this past weekend? I was watching the college game day, and they had fucking Arizona beating whoever they played at Oregon, and they got walked. So
yeah, they're not the greatest. They could be worse, but they're not the greatest. Fucking.
I guess we can cover into some of these matchups. How we think this is going to end up shaking out before we roll into our next topic. So we got just off the top of my head, I think these two don't really play anybody crazy. So we got Bama, Tennessee, right? I predicted 2 weeks ago that Tennessee is beating Bama. If Bryce Young's not playing, they definitely beat them. There's no shot that Tennessee does not beat Bama without.
Where are they playing? Is the question. Are they playing in Bama or in Tennessee?
At Tennessee.
Ooh.
So
I think Tennessee wins either way. I think if Bryce Young's playing, it's going to be a very close game that Alabama could most definitely win. But I think Tennessee will come away with it, especially with it being in Tennessee. But if Bryce Young is out, they are getting blown out. Josh Heupel is running a crazy offense. Hendon Hooker is killing it. The team is just looking unstoppable. The defense is looking pretty good too.
Yeah. So if Tennessee wins, which they will, because I predicted it. If Tennessee beats Bama, do you think they jump to number 1?
Oh, absolutely. Why would I mean? I don't see how they and I guess it kind of depends on how decisively it is. But I would put them. They would be my number 1 next week if they beat Bama.
I think if they beat Bama by 1 point, I think they jump to at least 2.
They'll be my number 1. I'll tell you that much.
I think hypothetically, who the fuck's Ohio State playing again?
Iowa.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't matter. What about Georgia? So I'm trying to figure out. Also doesn't matter. Okay, I think Vanderbilt's the worst of the 2 teams, so I think it goes Ohio State,
Clemson
Tennessee.
Play?
Us.
Yeah. I mean that. Nah. I mean, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So hypothetically, Georgia, Ohio State both win. Tennessee beats Bama. I think it goes Ohio State, Tennessee, Georgia. Bama. Not Bama. And then we're gonna meet Clemson, so then it would be Michigan.
Well, here's the issue though. Michigan is playing Penn State this weekend.
Shit. Okay.
How far up does Michigan jump if they beat Penn State?
All right. You're really busting my balls here. All right. So I got. If it's a blowout, I think we go Tennessee, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia. If Clemson wins, I think they're sitting here at 5.
And then Bama's probably at 6, like realistically.
Yeah, Bama's not jump far. Oh, I don't know. You got USC and OSU and Ole Miss sitting right there. Like
USC is gonna have a loss. I guarantee it. This is my personal guarantee. USC loses to Utah next week. I've been watching USC.
USC don't look
their defense.
Great.
Their defense is not good. Kayla Williams has been throwing like 150-ish yards lately, like past couple of games, I think.
Well, and then you got OSU and TCU, so that there's no way if Bama loses, they're ahead of OSU beating.
If OSU beats TCU, well, yeah, this is gonna be so complicated.
There's no fucking way, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. This is probably up to this point. This is gonna be the craziest fucking week of college football, and this
fucking
is gonna
TCU. If they win, how fucking far do they jump up? Like 7 at the least. Like I feel like maybe OSU. 8.
I don't think they'll put TCU over Bama with the 1 loss. Nobody fucking likes TCU other than TCU fans. They're one of those teams that ESPN just like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you got Oregon at 1 loss over TCU.
And then you got UCLA playing Oregon though. So one
Yeah,
of them's
so
gonna have to move into the top 10, like somewhere.
and so if they beat Oregon, then they're I don't know, bro. This is gonna be fucking like
who's Ole Miss?
hypothetical.
Who's Ole Miss?
Let's say I'm gonna guess Mississippi State.
Like, is this a losable game?
No, Auburn. No, they're gonna beat the fuck out of Auburn.
Nah, yeah, they ain't losing to Auburn.
No. Anybody
Penn
else?
State could drop out. Penn State could hypothetically drop out of the top 10. Oklahoma State hypothetically could drop out of the top 10. USC could hypothetically drop out. Those are the only 3 teams I could see actually drop out of the top 10 if they lose.
Everybody else is like playing each other. This weekend is gonna be fucking nuts, and I am for it. This is one of those weekends where you're like, yes, please shake it up. I'm tired of seeing this fucking lock of 4 to 5 teams here.
Every single fucking year.
It's so nice seeing Tennessee sitting here. I'm fucking for it. Please beat Bama, and let's have some fucking mayhem. Come on, let's FSU knock out Clemson. Like hypothetically, we could have loss. Maybe one of these 2 fucking teams are losing. Maybe a loss. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
probably
gonna be
loss. 11 and 12 are playing each other. 13's playing 8. Who's Wake Forest playing? Like they're probably playing somebody decent. The ACC ain't no joke
Boston
this year.
College.
Oh yeah, the one joke team they got.
ACC is a little bit of a joke, but we're not at the bottom of the joke. If we beat Clemson, what do you think we jump to?
I'd say like 20.
I think we hop into like this range.
Yeah, I would see you guys more like kind of maybe where Kansas is sitting.
I'm thinking.
Depends on how decisive as well.
I don't think it's gonna be very decisive. I have a fucking hair tickle in my nose and it's driving me nuts.
I don't see you guys beating Clemson. But you don't know because Clemson's defense really hasn't looked that great this year.
And they look pretty good against NC State. But
with Wake Forest,
State didn't. Wake Forest, man, I fucking hate that team. I fucking can't stand Wake Forest, man. I just want to fucking I'm gonna crush this fucking drink.
Best offense in the country. I mean, arguably.
Yeah, it's but on like paper, they're like not even a top 50 offense. I don't think. If I'm not mistaken,
nobody wants to play him. That's all I
know. Does it show what rank their offense is? What am I looking for here?
Team stats. You're on players. Yeah, there we go. Points per game. Where does it show where they rank though? I guess. I would search like college football offense rankings or something. Tennessee, number 1.
CAA.com. Yeah, that's nuts. What the fuck's Wake Forest? Guarantee they're not top 50. Hey, let's go. Yeah, not even top 50. See, that's what I'm saying. But like, oh no, they're there. 41.
41, but like it's crazy because
that shit is almost
they're the
impossible.
Scariest. They're like one of the scariest ones.
I hate that team. That offense is fucking annoying. They have a NFL QB at the helm, and you cannot waver that dude. He's just stone cold in the pocket. Fuck you, Sam Hartman. If you ever watch this, unless you go to the Giants, fuck you.
Dude's a nut.
Man, I'm so stoked for this weekend.
This is gonna be a hell of a weekend.
This is unfortunate. This is the one weekend we go to a game because we're gonna miss. We're not gonna be able to watch hardly any of it.
Well, I mean, ours is at 11. So I mean,
well, I gotta drive all the way down there, so that's like 3 hours of the driving for me.
Well, I mean, you just gotta drive to Ponca.
Well, yeah, so that's an hour and 20 there, and then we got another like hour and a half down to OKC. So that's like 3 hours worth of driving in the morning.
I mean, the good thing is like at the game they have like all the scores like being shown on like the little thing that like spins around.
Actually, I'll be watching the games on my phone while I'm in the stands. I don't give 2 shits about 2 of the teams playing. I'm just excited to go watch. This is gonna be my first college football game, so
Yeah, this will be actually my second, and this is the year I'm going. I started going when we start losing to fucking everybody.
Yeah.
Best case scenario is a huge upset. That's like best case scenario for us. Dylan Gabriel's back though.
It ain't looking good. Even Kansas's backup is that dude was killing it.
Yeah, it's looking rough, but it'll be fun. And then like right after that, when like big games start, I think at like 2:30 is when Tennessee and Bama are fucking going at it. OSU is playing TCU right around that time, around
Should I just have it up
2:30.
on my phone the whole time, the whole drive home?
Yeah, and then we got who plays at like 7? There's like a big game at like 7. I think it's
Let me look. Week 7. All right, primetime game, 7 o'clock, USC, Utah,
yeah.
NC State, and Syracuse. Oh, we missed that one. That's at 2:30. Yeah, all the big games are like 2:30 and 11. Yep, all of them. So 2:30 and 11. The fucking one weekend, man. I'm like so tempted to just like not want to go, but like I really want to go.
I was just like, man, these tickets are never gonna be this cheap again.
No. You know, it's crazy. My first college football game is not even my team.
It's gonna. I mean, it'll be a fun game because if Kansas does win, that keeps them alive. I mean, I think at the end of the season, if Kansas is sitting with one loss, they're pretty close to the playoffs because you can't like I can't say you can't count it against them, but like,
Well, I mean, if their one losses against TCU and TCU keeps winning, say they beat OSU, they're jumping up here. That's just gonna move Kansas up even more if they continue to win, and then maybe TCU loses eventually, and Kansas can like jump in there.
let's find out. Or is it Jalen or Jaden Daniels? I want to see his like injury status for this weekend.
I think it's Jalen Daniels. No, that's LSU. What the fuck is that guy's name?
Is it spelled like your name?
I don't think so. Like there's a Y in there.
Jalen with a JALON. Second, yeah. See where see if there's any news about him.
Two days ago.
Really not shit about though. I want to see him play because he's like a kind of a Heisman guy.
I mean, he's tied 4th in QBR. He's got 11 touchdowns on the year, so I think we'll hear more as the week kind of progresses. Obvious shoulder injury. I don't know. Maybe it's like a sprained shoulder. Hopefully, because he might be. I don't know. Like, I think that's the same thing Bryce Young had. He missed a week, so I don't think he's going to play. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean we'll see. I guess we can move forward. Biggest takeaway of the week. I'll kind of just go with mine because it's like pretty much ties in what we've been talking about. My takeaway is just that the field is getting smaller. Like for teams, it's not as wide open as it was. There's still quite a few teams that make a run at it, but we're now kind of looking at maybe 15 teams really in the running for it, and then a lot of these motherfuckers play each other too.
Any of these one-loss teams got a shot if they can win out. Because like all these teams up here could have one loss. It's very, very plausible. Nobody looks untouchable this year. Like nobody. Georgia's now looked great in 2 games this year, and if they play a really good defense or a really high-powered offense where it has to be a shootout, could they outscore them? Could they stop them? Ohio State, they've looked really dominant outside of Notre Dame. We'll see when they play a real team. I don't know if you would not consider Notre Dame a real team. They've kind of improved as the year's gone on. Alabama, I mean, their one loss this year might be if Bryce Young don't play. Well, it will be. It will be this weekend because I'm calling it. So their one loss might be just this week. They could just win out, and then they got to play Georgia probably. So they could end up having 2 losses and then knock them out. Clemson's probably got the easiest ride all the way there. Michigan's got a tough road. They got Penn State, or not Penn State and Ohio State. Those are the only two teams I see beating them. Tennessee's got a tough road. USC's got two teams that they got to play. OSU's probably got one of the harder roads. Ole Miss, another SEC team, so they got a little tough road. I don't see Penn State. I don't know why I keep saying Penn State. What the fuck am I doing? What am I even trying to say? Where's the C
Pennsylvania Christian University.
Yeah, we'll start calling them that. Yeah, Penn State ain't making it. So, yeah, Oregon's not making it. I don't know.
I mean, Oregon hypothetically could make it if they won out, because for them to win out, they're probably beating UCLA and USC in the conference championship.
I say below UCLA, like UCLA and up, they all have a really good shot. Let's see, who do I realistically think could make it?
I would realistically, I'd probably cut it at Wake.
Wake's got a really fucking good offense, and their defense is a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Underrated. And then NC State, no.
Mississippi State could though. Like if they,
I haven't watched enough of them. Kansas State ain't making it. We'll see Syracuse when they play their first real test. Kansas, if they can make it to when Jalen Daniels comes back, or whatever the fuck his name is, they got a shot. Utah, no. Cincinnati, no. Kentucky, no. Texas, if they can win out with 2 losses and Quinn Ewers back, they have a decent shot just because they're Texas.
I feel like they would be like, they could be, I feel like they'll be like one of those, like, you know how like Georgia's had a couple of 2-loss teams where they're like, should we put a 2-loss Georgia in over Ohio State? It'll be like that with Texas if they went out, but ultimately I think they wouldn't get in.
They would need a lot of mayhem. I mean, if they can, they got a lot of decent. I think they got some decent ranked teams on their schedule.
Oklahoma State, they got them coming up in a couple weeks.
All right, so ideally they need OSU to be undefeated when they play them. They need K-State to be undefeated, TCU and Kansas. Like if they beat all these 4 ranked teams, if they're all undefeated,
they're gonna be up there.
And Baylor will be back up in the rankings if they're all not because I don't remember exactly how the Big 12 schedule plays out because I think some of these teams play each other before Texas will get to them. But in like a realistic or not realistic, but like a hypothetical world, if they're all undefeated, not undefeated but ranked when they get to them, and these 3 are undefeated, because in Kansas State they have the 1 loss. I think they could jump up into the top 10 for sure. And they would just need a little bit of magic to happen, and they're in there just because they're Texas. And Quinn Ewers, like they're like, all right, this dude's gonna be fucking money. He's prime time type guy. They're gonna want to see him in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like,
Bijan Robinson. Like they're kind of a flashy team with Quinn Ewers back.
I mean, the committee is definitely gonna be thinking about ratings and stuff when they come up with the playoffs. That's like why you see certain teams that maybe should have got in, they didn't get in because that's what they're thinking about. They've yet to put a good. I don't think we've seen very many good semifinal games though, like since the playoffs have started. A couple, but not very many.
It's always usually blowouts the first game of the playoffs.
Championships are usually good.
Yeah, there's just not many teams down here that really even have a shot. Let's fucking James Madison just take it all the way. Do they play anybody? Anybody in?
I don't think undefeated they'd even get in.
Do they have one good team?
Louisville's okay. Like
Louisville's got like 3 losses.
That's a Power 5 team. Like they'd get a little respect. Marshall's not a bad team.
Is Coastal Carolina? What are they? They're 6-0. So I mean, if
they could be ranked too.
Will probably re-ranked if they win out, but they're not going to be very high. So that's going to be their 1 ranked win. There's no shot.
Old Dominion's not bad. And didn't they play fucking North Carolina to like the end or some shit?
I feel like they upset somebody. What the fuck did I just do? Yeah, Virginia Tech. That's who it was.
No, they're not that good, really. Actually, they're kind of ass.
Yeah, they're ass. I'm fucking a little sad on how Appalachian State turned out. I think they've lost like the last 2 or 3 games. That one upset that they had, just downhill from there.
Sometimes that happens. Teams look really good, like Oklahoma 3-0. We're going back to the playoffs, and then now look at us.
They don't even have a rank here by Texas's name. That's how we know they're gonna be. They win this week. They're like 4, 2
So
losses.
we're just we got them coming up. Like
Not ranked.
we're ready
They're
to change that at any moment.
They're gonna have them over here on the side, like right next to this top 7. They're just like it's a placeholder. They're gonna be up there. I feel it.
The
I
national
think
media
Texas.
definitely wants Texas to be like.
Dude, Texas has such a good chance to win out. That offense is so like Quinn Ewers is like so good. Like I don't even know how to express how good that man is. I think he's the guy. He's it. Like Heisman next year.
Is he a red? Yeah, I think he's a red shirt. So he'll probably leave after next year and go to the NFL.
Yeah, because he was at Ohio State. I think he's a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. If I'm not
I think
mistaken.
he's either a redshirt sophomore or redshirt freshman. Let's see.
He's a redshirt freshman, so
yeah,
he can't even leave next year.
Yeah, he can.
Right? Can you leave as a sophomore?
If you're a redshirt, not if you're a true sophomore. So he can leave next year, and he probably will because he's gonna have Arch Manning coming up behind him. He ain't gonna want to deal with all that noise.
I think they should try to keep him, let Arch sit a year underneath him. That way, he's not coming in like his first like real year having to play. I don't think Arch Manning's gonna be as good as Quinn Ewers. Look at this fucking guy. What a fucking Chad. I love the mullet, dude.
Imagine if he was on Morgan Wallen or some shit.
Imagine if he was on OSU, him and Mike Gundy. Jesus Christ. Them two with the mullets.
Oh, yeah. I think Arch Manning's going to be good, though. Like, I think Arch Manning's going to be, like, he's not going to be good as Peyton or Eli. Like, I can't put that pressure on him, but I think he's going to be like a second-round pick.
You think if Quinn Ewers stays, maybe till I don't think he's gonna stay till his senior year, but hypothetically, say he stays till his junior year, you think Arch Manning transfers?
I mean, like, I think if it's any other player, yeah, but I feel like Arch Manning, the Mannings are so like professional that he wouldn't do it. But you never know. Like, I mean, his dad and his grandpa and Eli are like, hey, come to Ole Miss, like
come to Tennessee, like
yeah.
Dude, if he went to Tennessee, that'd be wild. I would be cool with him going to Ole Miss or Tennessee. I don't hate Texas, but I'm not big on Texas. But I would much rather have him went to Tennessee or Ole Miss. Like
Tennessee, like he was considering them, and at the time it seemed like kind of ridiculous. Like, why would you go to Tennessee? But now looking at Tennessee, like Josh Heupel, man, like that man is nuts. Like he has such a good like head coaching record. He's only lost a few games. Like he's only a head coach at UCF and then here at Tennessee, and you see what he's doing at Tennessee, and he was doing great at UCF.
I think if Arch Manning was committing next year and then having seen Tennessee this year, I think it could have been different.
I mean, you never know with these fucking recruits these days. They fucking make commitments and flip them at the drop of a hat, like fucking Malachi Nelson, who's the number 1 quarterback ahead of Arch Manning. Arch Manning's at 2. He was committed to OU. He flipped it to USC real fucking quick.
I would have too. I gotta go fucking play for OU now. Like you'd have to at least give them one more year before you're like, all right, like one more year at least, and then I think they'll be kind of in their groove. But then they're on that. Was it 2 years from now they go to the SEC? 2020.
It could be next year. 2025 is the official date. They're trying to get in there next year. Like the Big 12 is trying to rush BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston into the Big 12, and at the same time, OU and Texas are trying to like get out at that. They don't want to overlap really.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, one thing I will say about like OU sucking and Venables and all this stuff, Matt Rule, I don't know if you saw, he got fired from the Panthers. He was the head coach of Baylor. He did really good at Baylor. His first year at Baylor, though, 1-11. So I mean, like,
yeah,
you never know.
I don't word on the street with the Ruleys at Wisconsin and Nebraska.
Nebraska would be a good fit for him. I think he'd do great in Nebraska.
Yeah, 100%.
He's a college coach. I mean, he's not a good NFL coach, but he's a good college coach.
I think Nebraska would be just the easier fit. Like Wisconsin, like that's a tough program to go into and like start winning because like you're gonna have to redo like almost their whole program. Like they're like the way that they run their team is just it's weird. They're like a run team, defense first type team. I don't think he's like a defensive type of guy. If I'm not, I think he's kind of an offensive guy.
He's coached on both sides of the ball, but he's made his name more from being an offensive guy.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to go there and completely flip that around if you want them to really be a contender. Because Wisconsin, going with that fucking defensive first run team, like it's not really working out for them. They need to. They can keep that defensive mentality, but you need to start airing the ball a little bit.
No, Nebraska, I don't think they care about the philosophy. They're gonna take whatever they could get at this 100%. Point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'd be easier. You're not gonna have to like re-change the mentality of the team.
But you can do whatever the fuck you want at Nebraska. They're gonna like do whatever you want, like whatever. But what was like your big takeaway?
You want? Can you get me another drink? Yeah, if you want. Biggest takeaway for me, the Big 12, man. It's fucking turned to like a crazy conference this year. Like it's completely up for grabs. There's not like, yeah, there's a couple top teams at the top. You like probably will win, but it's so wide open, I think, compared to the other conferences. It's like Big 10, it's Michigan and Ohio State. That's it. Penn State, they're like that tier below them. They could potentially do it, but that's a 2-team race conference. SEC, it's a little wide open, but it's Georgia, Alabama, and at this point Tennessee. I don't see Ole Miss winning it or really anybody else. That's a 3-team race. But like the Big 12, like you got OSU, TCU, Kansas has a good shot, K-State has a good shot, Texas can come back and fucking have a really good shot. So that's 4 teams. It's a little close to the SEC, but it's just so like it could go anywhere.
Are we forgetting somebody? I feel like there's another team in the Big 12 that's
I just pulled up the Big 12 scoreboard for the week. Who are we missing? Baylor could potentially slip in there.
Texas. I mean, Texas is good. I mean, I think you already mentioned Texas. But I mean, like you still even the lower teams are still like West Virginia. Like they could upset somebody. Like
100%.
I mean, Iowa State's. I feel like between Iowa State and OU, it's kind of like who's the worst team right now.
Right, and I mean hypothetically, like OU, like they could maybe we go their way back in there. Like say like let's open up their schedule.
They beat Kansas this weekend.
So yeah, they got 3 losses, right? But they beat Kansas. Okay, cool. They're probably gonna come like right there on the cusp of being ranked again. And then if you can upset OSU, boom, like that's fucking you taking out a top team there. And then Baylor, boom, knock them out. So really all you got is what, Texas and what am I missing? TCU. So like and then TCU could lose OSU this weekend. So it's like it's so fucking wide open. Like these two lost teams have a really good chance. But like if you look at SEC, a 2 lost team's not got any fucking chance in hell in winning that conference.
Hell no.
So it's so wide open, and I fucking love it. It's crazy.
It's the best. It's the most entertaining the Big 12's been in a fat minute. I can't remember the Big 12 actually being this entertaining since like when they had 12 teams. It's like the last time I
feel like it's been OU for like the last 10 years. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I think they won 5 straight at one point. I think last year, like OSU, it was
Baylor won.
Baylor finally won, knocked them off. I think OSU won it 2011 was like their only time getting it. Other than that, I think OU has pretty much won like every.
Yeah, the Big 12 has been so dominantly like OU. It's just it's a little refreshing like to see. Personally,
it's a rebuilding year for OU. So
I mean, I guess you could also make the statement for the Pac-12. It's kind of wide open too. I forget about the Pac-12, man.
They're not gonna be a conference for much longer.
No, they're probably not. But
I mean, USC, UCLA, even they're done.
You got, I don't know, 4 teams in the Pac-12. I mean, Utah still has a chance. Oregon, UCLA, USC, like got a 4-team race there. Kind of the same as a Big 12, but outside of those 4 teams, like nobody else has a fucking shot.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, Oregon, I do think Oregon could be legit if they beat UCLA this weekend.
How's UCLA's QB run defense? Because Bo Nix is gonna run all over the fucking place.
See, the thing is, like UCLA's defenses look really good. So I can't really. I mean, like you don't know though because they haven't really. I mean, they played Utah, they played Washington, but Washington is looking like a fraud now. They've lost 2 in a row. Utah, we could find out. Like if they get blown out by USC, they might be a fraud. So I feel like this will be UCLA's first real test. Potentially, I mean, depending on what we find out about Utah.
Right.
But I think like if you watch like Dorian Thompson Robinson for UCLA, like that man is like the most
he's nice.
motivated. He's the most motivated quarterback I've seen since like Baker Mayfield. He is like relentless. He's always fucking like you don't see that man smile. He's just going like 100% the whole fucking game. I think he could win the Heisman potentially.
He's got like he's a dark horse candidate.
Like right now, I think he's like Vegas odds. He's sitting at like 6 or some shit.
Yeah, he's top 10 for sure. And you know they keep winning, and if they can make the playoffs, he's got a really good shot at it.
Oh yeah.
I had a tough time picking a takeaway for the week. Like I was just scrolling through, like looking at the scores, and I was like, I don't know. And then the Big 12 just kind of jumped out at me a little bit.
This week was like almost kind of boring. Like I feel like every game went the way everybody expected it to go. Pretty much.
Yeah, kind of.
Were there any real upsets? I mean, I don't think.
Honestly, I was thinking this was going to be the week with no upsets, and I think we've continued the upset train every week so far. So we had Utah. If you consider this an upset, I would consider it an upset. Nobody really knew what UCLA was really about before this game, and everybody really thought Utah was better than they were with the one loss to Florida, really close. And I've been big on Utah all year, so that one to me was an upset. Upset for sure.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
For
that
sure,
one.
That's a huge fucking upset. There's kind of one there.
Yeah. TCU. I mean, like I thought Kansas. No, I thought TCU was gonna win, but I thought Kansas like had a better shot until Daniels got knocked out.
Yeah, I definitely thought Kansas was gonna win, but this one at the beginning of the game, you probably could have flipped a coin and it could have went either way. So
that's kind of. I thought it was a toss up, but I was like TCU will probably win.
Yeah,
but
I don't really consider that upset. Upset fucking here. Arizona State sucks.
See, that's what I mean about Washington looking like a fraud. Now they're like back-to-back losses. Their big win was against Michigan State, who also is ass.
Well, I mean they're fucking ranked, so it's technically an upset. So
Arkansas got blown out. Arkansas is fucking toast.
So we almost made it a week without upsets, and it's definitely going to continue for week 6. Or is this week 6 coming up or 7?
Week 7's coming up, I believe.
This is week. It's week 7.
Week 6. Or wait, yeah.
This week 7. So crazy. Almost made it.
Who did you have for a player of the week?
Fucking money man here. CJ Stroud is fucking crazy, but like this guy is unbelievable. He's all but got the Heisman, I think, locked up as long as he does not lose or have a disaster game. I don't see anybody beating him. Man threw 6 touchdowns against a previously like a really high Michigan State team, which everybody thought they was gonna be good.
I mean, just the scores of those last few games, like it's just ridiculous.
It's crazy. He's had 1 week where he has not thrown more than like fucking 4 touchdowns. And then this week he only missed 5 passes. Crazy. 361 yards, like over 90 QBR for 4 out of the 5 games. And I think this one, he only fucking threw it 22 times. Not super great. But that's like his one really bad game.
He's kind of the boring pick for Heisman, but he's like probably gonna win.
Where's the fucking Notre Dame game? Is it not on here?
It's probably like not recent enough.
Okay, yeah, he had not a crazy game against Notre Dame, but I mean he still threw 2 touchdowns. threw for over 220 yards, almost a 90 QBR. So like, yeah, two semi not great games, but still not bad. The guy's incredible. He's on fire. Number one QBR, number one in TDs. Only
Only
24 to 3 interceptions, and he's pushing 2,000 yards. So
man is nuts.
The guy's going crazy. Like, where's he sitting? Who's ahead of him in like passing yards? I know passing yards don't even matter, but I'm curious. Mississippi State's QB, Washington, trash. Western Kentucky, trash. UTSA, trash. Ohio, trash. I don't even know what fucking team that is. UNC,
Drake May's, he's legit.
Drake May's good. Arizona, trash. TLSA, I don't even know what the fuck that is. What is that?
Tulsa.
Is that Tulsa? Oh yeah, I'm missing
so.
one letter there. I'm fucking retarded. Eastern Carolina University, trash, and then you got Georgia above them. So like realistically, three real teams with their QB having more passing yards than him. Like fucking insane. And he's got more touchdowns than literally everybody above him. Higher QBR than literally everybody above him.
Number one overall pick in the draft, probably the Heisman, unless he just has a complete meltdown.
The guy is going fucking nuts.
So I was gonna have him as my player of the week, but like last week, like our shit kind of ran. Or no, it was like 2 weeks ago where our shit like ran into each other a whole bunch. So I was like, Jaden's gonna pick CJ Stroud, so I'll just pick like who I think the second best player was.
Yo, I'm fucking on CJ Stroud's nutsack. Like the dude's goated. He's too good.
He's great. He's gonna win the Heisman. I mean, unless he has a meltdown. Unless he has a meltdown. I mean, that's the only way.
Yeah. Or somebody comes out of fucking like Blake Corum starts rushing for 300 yards a game.
Yeah, I mean, Blake Corum's still looking good. Like, well, I mean,
QB wise, because it's probably gonna be QB or Blake Corum. That's it. I think it's CJ Stroud or Blake Corum.
If Michigan blows out Ohio State or something, then it's probably going to Corum.
Yeah, as long as he keeps rushing for 150 a game, and this guy fucking dick load of touchdowns. I think he's got 11.
Yeah, he's like a touchdown machine.
He's going nuts.
My guy was Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. He rushed for I think like 160. It's like CHARB. Yeah, there he is. He had a hell of a game. 198, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Damn near 200 yards. He's like an explosive player, and he's like trending upwards. Like he had a really good game against Washington, but yeah, he was like the star of that UCLA game. He was just busting off like long runs, like consistently. He's like,
I mean, if he can keep it up, I mean, he could maybe even be that second RB in that Heisman contention, as long as Bijan Robinson ain't coming fucking out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, if Texas keeps winning, Bijan's probably gonna get back up in that race.
Yeah, but I mean, he's like 5 touchdowns behind Corum and probably. I'm gonna just guess 400 yards. Like Corum's fucking.
Let's see what Blake Corum's doing.
No, he's only like 100 yards back, but 5 touchdowns behind him. So, however you want to weigh the touchdown to yards ratio.
I don't know. I mean, like I feel like I don't know. They're almost equal. Like I feel like so if like one person is just doing like he's got more touchdowns, but yeah.
He's almost got 30. He's got like 30 more attempts than he does. So
6.2 yards per carry is crazy, and I think Charbonnet had like 7.9 or some shit. 7.1. Like that's kind of crazy. Nuts. That's like almost a first down every time they fucking run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you almost don't need to throw it when you got these two fucking dudes in your backfield.
No, on top of that, they have pretty decent quarterbacks.
He's 6'1", 220. Blake Corum is 5'8", 210. So they're both tanky little bastards.
Blake Corum is definitely like a more built guy, 5'8", 210.
I mean, that's 10 pounds differently, but like 4 inches.
Yeah, then the
3
arm's
inches.
got to be fucking ripped. Like 210 is like a lot. I feel like for a 5'8" guy.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, I'm like almost 5'7", and dude weighs like he's like 2 of me. It's crazy. But look at that fucking dude. Straight dog.
Dude.
All right. Disappointing player of the week.
You ain't gonna like this one. Jordan Travis. He didn't have necessarily a terrible game. It was just like that last fucking interception. Like, why the fuck would you throw that? He just he fucked up at the wrong times. Like, I can't even say he had like the absolute worst fucking like game out of anybody, because like that's definitely Davis Bevel. But like out of players I had high expectations for though, like yeah, he shit the bed, especially towards that. What the fuck? That was a terrible play call. First off, like
I'll definitely we'll get into that when I talk about him.
but yeah, that was not good at all.
I mean, it's not a terrible stat. It's not great, but I don't think it's the worst. Yeah, not happy with it for sure. For sure.
I just feel like he's. I wouldn't say he's the entire reason the game was lost, but he's a big factor, especially like poor decision making a few times.
Agreed. Very agreed.
Who did you have? Since we're gonna get into that a little bit later on.
Spencer Petras, you're fucking lucky because your bitch ass was about to be on here again. I was it was between Spencer Petras and Ryan Hilinski. I think Hilinski had the worst game, but I think I was like, I think that the 2 interceptions was what pulled me to Hilinski over Petras. I think Petras had 1 interception. Let me pull up his dumbass real fast so I'll show you the difference.
The weekly roast of Spencer Petras.
Both terribly fucking bad, and like I said, Iowa has the worst offense in the entire fucking country. They didn't score a touchdown this week. Field goals only. So 36.2 QBR and 51.2. So yeah, he has the worst rating, but he does have 1 interception. He did get sacked 5 times, 170 yards, 147 yards, 2 interceptions, no sacks, but 51.2 QBR, and they got blown the fuck out.
Yeah.
So, but I really wanted to put him here. I just didn't want to be a fucking beating a dead horse. So I don't know. I'll consider it a fucking tie. You're trash, bro. You're trash. Like, I don't get it, bro. How is this team this bad, and why is he still the quarterback? Like,
bro, that dude looks high as fuck in his picture.
He does. Like, take him out. He's bad. He's so bad. He's had 2 touchdowns on the year. 22.2.
God damn. That's the 125th. Like, there's only like 130 teams. Like in the D1.
I don't know. I don't get it. What the fuck? He's a senior, bro. Like, he's played. This is like his third year.
Stats? I mean, like
2,000 yards, still no fucking touchdowns, almost a 1-to-1 ratio. But like, the guy's bad. I don't know how the fuck he's got 103.5 overall rating. Like, that's just no way. He's terrible. The man's washed, and then they've not fucking Northwestern's 1-5. Iowa's lucky to be 3-3. Illinois should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know how you put them at 24 after this fucking game, where you barely beat. Where the fuck am I going? After you barely beat. Let me close these up. After you barely beat Illinois, it's all field goals. Just despicable. The game was probably so fucking boring. If I was at that game and I was not like just a casual viewer, I would have left.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Illinois definitely shouldn't be up there really thinking about it, because I mean, Iowa has a great defense though. Like, they do have a great defense.
Yeah, I think they have like the top 10 defenses in the country. Maybe even like top 5. Let's go find out.
They're so unbalanced though. Like they have nothing going on offense.
Let's find out.
Minnesota.
Oh,
James Madison, hey.
Sheesh. All right, they got the 9th ranked defense in the country. And then they played Illinois, the third ranked defense. I don't know. I'm still not. That's just, I don't even know what to say. Oh, I don't even know what to say. It's fucking terrible. Trash. Just dumpster trash. Northwestern, Iowa, Spencer Petras, Ryan Hilinski, trash.
You're really going for the bottom feeders of the Big Ten.
Dude, the bottom feeders, the Big Ten, was it the East? I think it's the East, right? The fucking
the one that doesn't have like the good teams yet.
Yeah, there's nobody in that fucking conference, and they all suck. It's disgusting. If I was a Big Ten fan, I'd be ashamed. They're dragging the conference down.
Hey, they're getting USC and UCLA, and I guarantee they put them in that division like right off the bat.
Oh, I think they're probably gonna reorganize. They should reorganize it. They need to change something up because you can't put USC and UCLA in the conference with fucking Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. Like that'd be a goddamn bloodbath every year. It would be cool. It would be very cool.
They need to be in separate. I think like USC and UCLA need to be in one division, and Ohio State and Michigan need to be in another one.
I mean, yeah, they could probably just slide USC and UCLA into the opposite one, and then maybe slide like one team from that one over. Like, just fucking throw a Northwestern over there. I think they're in the East. Trash. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Heisman rankings. I actually do not have a hot take this week. I don't think. Okay. I'll let you decide. I got CJ Stroud at number 1. Just easy.
Yeah, me too.
Blake Corum at number 2, doing really good. Hendon Hooker at 3. Dorian Thompson Robinson at 4. It was really hard to pick a 5. Just because some of the guys I had, like Kayla Williams, Bryce Young, Stetson Bennett, they really haven't done all that good. So I ended up going with DJ Uiagalelei. How to pronounce his last name?
I think that was kind of close. I still don't. I've heard it a lot, and I still have no idea. I don't care.
That's who I have at my 5. He's probably not going to stay at 5, but I had to pick somebody at 5. That's who I picked.
Okay. I mean, ours are vaguely similar, but maybe a little bit different order. CJ Stroud, still locked in at number 1. I think he's been number 1 for 4 weeks for me. Like I said, all over his nutsack. The dude's too good. I got Hendon Hooker at number 2. I don't know. Tennessee looks really good. He's playing like a fucking madman. He's got no interceptions, 3rd in the country in QBR. He don't have a whole lot of yards, but I think he does rush for a decent bit. What's his rushing stats look like? I mean, he's got 112, D6. Like, I don't know his total. Where's total? Does that change? No, it doesn't change this. I wish there would be a slot for like rushing yards or something up there. But
I mean, last 2 games, he's rushed really well.
I mean, he's got probably almost 300 rushing yards. So, and he's beaten some good teams. And if he beats Bama this week, then he's still. I don't think I could put him over CJ Stroud based off of like performance, but come the end of the year, if they're going to wager wins into the factor, which I think they do, he's got a decent shot if they both win out, and if they both make, like, if it's like Tennessee, Ohio State in the championship, or in the finals of some sort, some fashion. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Like,
well, because the Heisman's before the playoffs, right?
Yeah, the Heisman is before. It's like right after the conference championship, so like right after the playoffs are announced.
So if Ohio State and Tennessee are both undefeated in the playoffs, whatever seed they are, which would probably like 1 and 2, if they're both undefeated, because they both beat Michigan, Penn State, and then Tennessee's probably beaten Georgia and Alabama in some fashion. It would be the 2 of them, and I don't think anybody else. So you're at that point, you're wagering, if their stats are kind of close, you're wagering probably wins against each other and whatever. But yeah, he's locked in at my 2 spot for now. If he beats Bama, he'll probably stay at my 2 slot for the rest of the year. It'll be like CJ Stroud, Hendon Hooker. He might even be able to bounce the 2 of them around.
Yeah, he's definitely climbed up. Like
Yeah.
He was not even on my list. Now he's 3. He's playing really, really good.
And then I got Kayla Williams, number 3. I mean, he hasn't played the best, but he's playing really well. They're undefeated. It's USC.
Yeah.
He gets a lot more hype and a lot more attention than some of the other players from other teams. But he's got a similar stat line to fucking Hendon Hooker. He's got more yards. He's got more touchdowns and 1 more interception. So we'll see what he ends up cooking up. He's played really well, other than this last week. He didn't really do a whole lot.
That Oregon State game was a little bit of a struggle, but besides that, he's pretty much dominated.
He's had 2 kind of average games. So I got him at 3. I just dropped Bryce Young to 4 because he didn't play this week. So I mean, he's playing really well this year. You could even interchange him with Hendon Hooker and Kayla Williams in that 2 to 3 slot. So like, I think the 3 of them are really interchangeable. However you feel about them,
they got him doubtful. Like I just noticed that at the top.
Yeah, if he doesn't play this week and they lose, I think he's out. I don't think he has a chance to win the Heisman. And because like I said, he's the previous winner. I don't think they really want to give it to him unless you really deserve it. So if you got a loss and you miss 2 weeks, I'm probably just going to take him out of my top 5 in general, unless he just starts going fucking absolutely berserk in the last half of the year. I don't see it. And then I got Blake Corum 5. He's the best running back in the country. He's got more rushing touchdowns than some quarterbacks have passing touchdowns, like a lot of QBs. And I think he's really carrying the Michigan offense. The Michigan was it JJ McCarthy? He's playing really well, but this dude's crazy, man. He is crazy. Look at that 243.
This dude is nuts. Like
against the one of the top ranked Iowa defense, he still ran for 133. Only 1 touchdown, but he beat the fuck up on UConn. That's really where about half his touchdowns come from. So when Michigan starts playing better teams, and if he starts playing like he is against those better teams, I think I'd be comfortable sliding him up over maybe Caleb Williams. I could maybe put him up to 3. If they went out and beat Ohio State, I'd be comfortable pushing him up potentially to 2 or 1. It really depends what his stat line's looking like, but right now he's locked in at 5 for me, unless he just has a disaster performance of some sort.
Yeah, I think he's definitely gonna be sitting there at the end of the year. I mean, I think Hendon Hooker, like he's playing really good. I would say he is like one of the most likely ones to get knocked off if they lose, because they do have a tough schedule.
Yeah, he loses, he's out.
Same thing with UCLA. I think if they lose, Dorian Thompson's out.
See, I think that can be said for everybody other than CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, I think loses. One loss, he's still.
If he loses to Michigan, and I think Michigan only, he's still in. But I think if he loses to anybody else, I don't think he's in.
Yeah, I mean, game of the week. Who did you have for game of the week?
I got TCU Kansas. What do you got?
That's what I knew you were gonna pick, and that was maybe gonna be my pick, but I went with Alabama Texas A&M just to kind of like add some variety.
I'm gonna get a quick pause here on my part. I got you Tinkle.
All right.
Go ahead and talk to yourself for a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit here and talk to myself. I got the floor. I can say
talk about Florida State. I'm gonna drag my nutsack across your head.
I'm gonna talk some shit about Florida State this whole time.
Okay.
I'm gonna go on an anti-Florida State rant. But yeah, I mean, the TCU Kansas game, it's unfortunate that Daniels got hurt in that game. I think the game could have gone a little bit differently had he been healthy. I think it still would have been a shootout. It's tough to say. I mean, I think Kansas still has a really good shot of getting back into the playoff picture. There's a lot of competition ahead of them, so I don't think it's super likely. But if they do somehow win out in a really tough Big 12 conference, I don't see how they aren't at least like top 6. And then it's also up to, when is Daniels getting healthy. I don't know if he's going to play this weekend against Oklahoma. I want him to. Like we're going to the game. obviously I want OU to win, but I want to also see like a Heisman candidate quarterback in person. I haven't really had that experience yet, so I think that'd be really cool. But yeah, I mean, Kansas has, I mean, their defense isn't super solid though. That's kind of like a big question mark with them. But I mean, TCU, their offense is looking nuts right now. So I mean, TCU to me is a legit playoff contender. I think they have actually, in my opinion, I think they have the best shot of winning out in the Big 12 currently. I was just going over the TCU Kansas game. I was saying how I think TCU might have the best like odds of winning out in the Big 12 just because of how explosive that offense is.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. Before this week, I would have said OSU, but OSU's defense was looking a little suspect. Like when I mentioned earlier, Texas Tech, their QB, this is his first collegiate start. That guy was going nuts.
That dude was crazy, and he got a little hurt, I think, towards the end.
And he got hurt, and as soon as that happened, he was not like he still played pretty well, but he was not fucking cooking him like he was. If he wouldn't have got hurt, I think they would have lost.
Did you see that that fucking fair catch on the onside kick shit?
That was crazy. What a smart play.
I hope they change that rule. But I mean, that was a genius play on his part. I do hope they change the rule though, because that's kind of bullshit.
What a smart play. So yeah, this was one I watched this whole game, and it was one of the better games played over the weekend. So that's why I went with this over the. I didn't watch the Alabama A&M game, unfortunately. So it's I maybe would have picked that one if I had watched it. I didn't really get to see anything about it. I looked at the stat line. For some reason, I thought Alabama threw 3 interceptions.
They fumbled it once, I think.
But they only threw 1 interception from a.
They fumbled it twice, actually.
So I guess they had 3 turnovers, but I guess Texas A&M lost. They lost themselves the game. I guess they should have won.
Oh yeah, I watched the. I think the ending of that game.
Like, they found them a way to lose the game.
So they have the I think I just watched the highlights, but like I watched like a big like the whole like a really long highlight thing of it, and like at the end of the game, fucking Texas A&M has it at like the fucking 10, and fucking Haynes King just throws a terrible fucking pass. Like it was like I'm pretty sure it was 4th down like previous play, so it was like 4th down. Fucking Texas A&M doesn't get it, but pass interference on Alabama, so they move them up, and then it's like, all right, Texas A&M got this, and then he just panics, kind of like how Hartman did at the end of the Clemson game, just kind of panics and throws a stupid ass pass. They like Alabama was like trying to give them the game, like fumbling it 3 fucking times or like 2 times or whatever with the interception. Like holy shit, like Jimbo Fisher, man, I'm gonna talk about you later, but Jesus Christ, this fucking A&M team is. We should have like an end of the year like awards, like most disappointing team of the year might go to Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how some other teams shake out, I think they're sitting right there on number 1 for that award. Yeah, this one I watched this whole game and I was so fucking stoked. Like the college game day when they was talking about this, Pat McAfee was fucking hype. It was I texted you. He was like, "I got Kansas by 1,000." They should like I don't know what that line when he said that just killed me.
The crowd is probably going crazy.
Yeah, I was super hyped for Kansas to win this game, and I really thought they was going to, but fucking their QB goes down. I think he went down in the second quarter. Like it was like right in here, so it was still a relatively close game. And then old fucking Jason Bean.
He wasn't bad.
He came in and he clutched up. I mean, he threw for almost 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. It's not even on him. It's on the defense. They could not stop TCU at all. It was kind of like one of those games like last possession, like is gonna win it type thing.
Yeah, I watched the end of that game, and that's kind of what I was like, whoever gets this ball last is probably.
That's just really how it shook out. Like, I mean, if you look at the stat line, it's 10-3, 10-10, 17, like just back and forth. It was just a shootout, like all the way up into the final game, and that last drive, Kansas, they just couldn't stop them. Like neither
They
of them
did
could.
the refs missed like a pass interference call or some shit though. I can't remember the exact call, but they fucked some shit up at the end of the game.
Oh, yep. They sure did. The
Kansas
refs,
might have won that. How they not fucked that up?
refs this year are fucking absolute dog shit across the board.
So what did you like? What are we expecting when we go watch Kansas play? I haven't really got to watch a full game of them really. Like, what was interesting about them?
After watching this game, then I watched OU get blown out by Texas. I don't think it's looking good for y'all. It could end up turning into something like this, like a shootout, if Dylan Gabriel is fully functional and on his game. If he's not at 100% and cooking, I don't think you guys win. Even with the backup, if fucking Jason Bean plays anything like he did this game, I can't see you guys winning unless you guys' defense. You guys' defense has to fucking step up. Like they can't even stop a nosebleed, man.
I think it's gonna be like I could see OU losing by like 3 touchdowns. Is like kind of my current feel for it. I think it could be better.
I think Kansas wins regardless, but it's either gonna be a blowout or one of the Big 12 shootouts, and Kansas wins by a score, maybe 10. Like either way, or however everything shakes out, I'm pretty sure Kansas will win. Unfortunately for you guys,
watch us pull the upset off.
That would be cool.
Kill their little Cinderella story.
That would be cool for y'all. I do like seeing Kansas, the football team, win. I don't like their college basketball team, but it's cool to see their football team and the national spotlight of some fashion. It's just good for the sport.
Who would have thought, like when the season started, that Kansas would be heavily favored against OU? I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No chance.
Heavily favored.
Well, I wonder if we look at. I wonder if it gives us a win probability.
Yeah, what's the spread on that?
69.1% for OU.
Whoa! I did not see that. I did not even think that was. I thought it was gonna be the opposite.
How?
I don't know,
the only thing I could see it being is like
Gabriel.
The stats. He's got more everything over Daniels. Daniels is out, so you got a backup QB filling that spot. They got a better running back on paper. Their number one receiver is better than Kansas's on paper. So like that could be the only thing I could see it being like.
One thing I will say about OU is they have a great offensive line and they do have a really good running game. The problem has really been with the quarterbacks and the receivers. Not like aside from Marvin Mims, a lot of these receivers have not been able to get any separation from defenders. Gabriel, even when he was in, he has a strong arm. He's somewhat athletic, but he is extremely inaccurate, especially on deeper throws.
Yeah.
So it's really the passing game that's OU's struggle. I think they ran it even pretty good against Texas. It was just at a certain point you need to throw it, and they couldn't do it.
I mean, if you want to go by stats, I mean they're pretty even across the board, other than these two stats here, which will go into you guys' favor. Like you said, other than Mims being the only receiver, like they're giving up almost 300 yards passing a game, so that's going into you guys' favor. And then you guys say you're rushing pretty good. Like, I mean, they're only around like allowing 120, but you guys' grade's pretty good. So if you guys are cooking them through the air, it's just gonna open this up, and then you guys are just you're moving.
But I mean, I don't understand how Kansas could be 19. They just took it to the wire against a team that OU got blown out by.
And how are they not the favorite? Heavily underfavored. Look at the over-under, 64.5.
Like, Kansas is like, I think everybody deep down knows Kansas is the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, you guys they've hung so many points against you guys' defense. Like, that's crazy. But then, like, Kansas is kind of right there too, 42-30.
Their defense does suck.
But they're not that great. So
I think it could be a shootout. I think there's a good chance it's just a crazy shootout, which would be a fun game to go to.
It's either going to be a blowout or a shootout.
I'm hoping for a shootout. Even if we lose, like I'd just be happy with just like just scores after score
Yeah.
after score.
It's definitely gonna be interesting. I'm fucking ready for it. We already go through your game of the week. Yeah, we'll go into yours.
Oh
We
yeah,
didn't really touch on it.
A&M, Alabama. I mean, it was.
Where are you? Okay, it's not fucking up here.
No, there it is. Right next to Clemson.
Oh, not the box score. I want the game cast. I mean, 4-point game. Alabama should be ashamed of themselves.
I mean, A&M, like, they really just wanted to lose. Jamir Gibbs, though, he looked really good again for the second straight week for Alabama. Like, that guy, he's a sleeper. I mean,
A
like,
lot
he
of
has
people are calling for him and like the Heisman favorite. Well, not a favorite, but like in the
he's a dark horse.
Like in there, but I don't see it.
I don't think he's going to win, but hey, Milroe is actually like he's not that great of a passer.
He can run like a
he's
motherfucker though. Yeah, that's the thing though. If Tennessee can shut down his running and they have to, if they're forcing him to pass, they have no chance.
They have no, like, I think if Bryce Young's not playing and it looks like he's not, if they're saying he's doubtful, Tennessee's gonna mop the floor with him. But yeah, I mean, it was like fucking A&M. I mean, Haynes King is like, this, like, what's sad is this is one of his better games of the year, but it was still like ass.
A&M better be looking for in the portal for a QB, but because the two guys they got is King the guy that started.
He started the season and then they replaced him with Johnson, and then Johnson's out for the season. He got hurt.
You think if they had Johnson, they would have won?
Probably.
He came in and I think he was playing better.
He was definitely better. I think they would have probably won. It's just like Alabama, like it's too good to be true.
4 turnovers. Like how do you lose a game when you get the ball 4 extra times? Like it don't matter where you're at on the field. You're getting the ball 4 extra times that you didn't have.
And Alabama, man, I swear every time Alabama is like about to lose, like you just know it. You know it deep down. Everybody knows it. Like even it doesn't matter what the situation is. Everybody knows Alabama's gonna fucking win. We know
somehow
it.
Pull it out. It's a little annoying, for sure.
It's frustrating because they're always like right about to lose, and you're like, yes, it's finally happening, and then something stupid happens.
And the crazy thing is, like, sometimes they have these games in a year, or sometimes they drop a game and then they still win the championship. And you're just like, fuck, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like they'll lose a game and you think they're done. Like, oh, they lost, and then like some other team will fucking lose, like some other like better team, and then Alabama's right in there, and then like they're kind of like the nobody's really thinking of them like to win the playoffs, but they're in the playoffs and then they end up winning because it's Alabama.
I don't know. My only thing against Alabama is like they are probably the greatest collegiate team of all time. 100%. We're not arguing.
Debatable.
That's not debatable. Nick Saban, best college coach of all time, not debatable. Unless you want to debate the Bear Bryant and him, but they're both fucking Alabama coaches. So why do you even care if you're an Alabama fan? Like you got the top 2, like pound sand. They got the best fucking recruiting. They got the best athletes. Cool. Not hating on it. I'm just tired of seeing it. The same team. It's not fun for the sport when you have the same fucking team win every year with the same handful. It's like the NFL and the Patriots. Like if you're not a Patriots fan, you don't. It's not fun. Like, yeah, your one team could be shit. Like, yeah, my team's been shit for fucking the last 8 years in college football, and then we won, and then before that we were shit from like 01 up until 2013. Not shit, but we're like average. It's like that's cool. You can hate on them because maybe they're a rival, but you can't hate on them because they're like what they're doing. It's just annoying to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't have anything against Alabama. Actually, I think Nick Saban's a great guy. I was actually watching a video about him, like when he was with the Dolphins. I don't know if you like heard too much about like when he went to the NFL.
Yeah, he was terrible.
It was actually the Dolphins. Like I watched the whole
video. The team was terrible. Not necessarily him, but like the team. Like they didn't do very good. He
quit because they were just like doing terrible. Like so, Nick Saban wanted Drew Brees, and the Dolphins said no. The Dolphins said no.
I wonder if anybody in the Dolphins organization like ever looks back on like when they had Bill Belichick, and then him saying he wanted Drew Brees. Like if they're like, fuck, fuck, what are we doing? Because he would probably still be there.
Like, oh, we got Nick Saban and Drew Brees. Like that's a fucking Super Bowl like content. They're so stupid. Like the Dolphins are the dumbest fucking team in the NFL. Like, as far as like organization, like the running of it,
they're definitely fucking up there. I don't know if they're the worst. Maybe
Browns like second, like
Browns, Jaguars. I feel like it's probably 3. Like I don't know. I like the Dolphins though. Like they're a cool team to watch. They got cool uniforms. They got a dope ass stadium. They're in a tough conference. Like they're fun to watch. They got a lot of fucking star players now, but yeah, they'd be weird sometimes.
But anyway, that was just like like Nick Saban's a great guy. He handled himself really well at Miami. Like Miami was trying to like not pay like a player that was like there during training camp, and like Nick Saban like demanded that the team like paid him and all this. Like Nick Saban's just like a really good dude. It's just annoying to see Alabama win every single motherfucking year. Like it's just
that's
give us
the
something
bottom
different.
line.
Like give us something different.
Like I don't even give a shit that Ohio State. Like yeah, it's annoying seeing all the same teams, but it's really just Alabama winning all year. Like I would be okay with Ohio State winning the championship this year. Like I wouldn't love it, but I'd be okay with it. I wouldn't hate, Georgia winning it again, going back to back. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, fuck it. Clemson, absolutely not. I'd rather shit my hands and clap. Michigan, yeah, fuck it. Tennessee, sure. USC, sure. OSU, dope. Yeah, Ole Miss, cool. Penn State, cool. Yeah, fuck Oregon, just because. Yeah, fuck Wake Forest, just because. Fuck NC State. These 2 teams cool. Fuck Syracuse, just because they're in the ACC. Yeah, Kansas dope. Like a lot of these teams like would be perfectly fine. But Alabama, please just fucking take some time off, man. All right.
Nick Saban, retire. You got enough. You won
please,
enough.
God, please. We're just. I'm just being fucking hateful. It's just annoying. It's cool for Alabama, like the dynasty that they got going. It's a lot of work that has to go into that, and it's mostly in part to Saban and what he's built there. And it's crazy, like the time like we're living in college football, because after he's gone, like this might never happen again. Like the dominance that we have here, like, it could be 30 years before we have another head coach come in and make a team this dominant, or it might never happen again.
It won't happen like this. Like it'll be a while. I mean, like we'll see some dominance. We might see like a Georgia win a few championships, or like Ohio State come in and win a few, but it's not gonna be like this.
Nothing like this. Alabama's, and this, how was it? Almost 15-year span, roughly.
I think he started. He started in 07. So yeah, around that time. Yeah, I think it's just about that time.
They're just crazy. And if he stays till 2027, that's almost 20 years of dominance.
Even when he leaves, I think like they will linger for a little bit and still be good, just based off of all the shit he did. And then if he has a good successor, like maybe Kirby Smart's like, oh, I'm gonna jump over there now that like I proved that I can win without Saban at Georgia.
I was trying to say I give him 5 years unless they bring in somebody that's really good head coach and good at recruiting. Like they won't really need to recruit crazy just because of the name, but if they don't have a coach that's like on the recruiting, then I think that 5 years is kind of where I'm capping it before they start declining.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're gonna have a good coach. I feel like Nick Saban won't leave unless he has a good successor.
I wouldn't, unless he absolutely have to leave, whether or not he gets sick or something. God forbid something.
He's pushing 70, I think. So I mean, you never know at that age. But I mean, like it's just like it's ridiculous. Like I would not like. But if I was him, I would not leave. I would not spend all this time building this program just to leave and it to go to shit.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Well, I'll leave it at that.
Best performance by a team. You got Tennessee. Oh, cool. Yeah, we got different. I had Tennessee, so we got different ones. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I picked UCLA because they, in theory, upset Utah. If it was, UCLA higher ranked than Utah, I might not have picked it. And it's not like they, completely blew them out, but it was it was a crazy performance. I think a lot of people expect Utah to win this game. I wish they would have to win. Probably, yeah. Fucking Utah was 70% win probability coming into the game, and they just were overmatched. Or UCLA was better than them from the get go. Like looking at 7-3, 14-3, like they were just on top the entire game. Like Utah did not even tie the game not one time. So they were playing from behind. Cam Rising didn't have a great game. So I watched probably the first quarter, and I don't know why the fuck they would not throw the ball. They only wanted to run it, and I think that's what probably lost them the game from what I watched. They like I said, they were running on like 3rd and 9 or some crazy shit. I don't remember the exact play. I remember watching it. They was probably on like their 25 to 30, and it was 3rd and 9, and they just run it like, come on, bro. And then they got fucking completely stuffed. Just throw it. Cam Rising's solid QB. The dude can throw. Yeah, he don't make the best fucking decisions, but just let him fucking throw it. And I think they were probably hoping that they would maybe get close to it, maybe go for it on 4th down, or they was hoping their defense is going to take them to the win, but absolutely fucking not. I don't know why you're expecting your defense to shut down this offense.
It's like it was a crazy game because I feel like this is the game where like I feel like Chip Kelly's like rebuild is like coming to like completion almost.
Yeah, I agree.
It was like Chip Kelly. I mean, like Chip Kelly, like another example of a coach not starting out very well.
I forgot Chip Kelly was even at UCLA. Like, I completely forgot about UCLA in general and Chip Kelly. I was just like gone out of my mind for like the last couple years of football.
They've been irrelevant in the past few years, and now Chip Kelly, like they're starting to like Chip Kelly built a great program in Oregon. That's the reason Oregon is where they are today because Chip Kelly. Yeah. And now he's doing it again.
This right here, they need to figure this shit out.
God.
This is fun. I'm imagining as they start climbing the ranks, if they stay undefeated, this will go up. All the fucking bandwagon UCLA fans, or when they beat USC, the USC fans. Like, I've been a UCLA fan my whole life. So this will definitely go up. It's probably in part because they've been so bad for the last, I don't even know how long, forever.
Well, it's just insane. Like they're playing such good. It's crazy to see like that level of football, and then look at a stadium that's half full.
Yeah, and you have this huge matchup between two teams in your conference.
Like imagine that in Texas or something. Like that would be like a sellout. Like a top 25.
The high school games have more fucking attendance than this. You could have a fucking winless high school team that's going to be selling out. Like, I don't know. California just does not like football.
I kind of think that's kind of what I think is because like, look, you got the Rams, you got
don't
the Chargers,
sell out.
You got the
Chargers
USC,
don't ever
UCLA,
sell out.
You got the Lakers, Clippers. There's so many other options. I guess like they're probably not looking at college football there.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the pro teams, they're fucking just like meh. Even when the Raiders, I think the Raiders probably would have more attendance just because like the diehard fans. But like, I don't think they was selling out if I'm not mistaken.
LA's lost multiple NFL teams. They have the Raiders there. They have the Rams there. Then the Rams left and came back. And were the Chargers there before San Diego? I think they just came from San Diego. I think they're San Diego. It's like their 3rd NFL team basically they've had.
The Chargers were somewhere else, I'm pretty sure. Or were they a different team before the Chargers?
I don't know. I know like it was they're in San Diego. I don't know if they're in LA before. Like the Raiders went back and forth. The Rams went back and forth. LA just they don't care about football. It just is. They're a basketball town.
Yeah, pretty much because you got the Clippers, you got the Lakers, and the fucking Warriors.
Yeah, I mean California is just loaded with fucking basketball. And then UCLA, look at like I guarantee you a UCLA basketball game ain't gonna be half full. That's just
probably not. It's sad to see, but yeah, this is my game of the week or my what's the best performance?
Best performance of the week.
I closed my notes up.
Yeah, hell of a game. I mean,
What
UCLA
was your?
is looking like a team. Tennessee whooping on LSU.
They beat the fucking doors off LSU.
Well, it's just crazy because last week we were talking about like, oh, LSU is kind of back. They bounced back since like that first week. They're looking good, and then this happens, and it's like either LSU is really trash or Tennessee's really good. And I'm leaning towards Tennessee's really good.
Yeah, I am too. I think Jalen Daniels or Jaden Daniels, fucking Daniels for fucking Kansas. Jaden, why do they fucking have basically the same name? They're basically the same fucking person. I feel like they have pretty similar play styles too, but I think he will be much improved next year. I'm pretty sure he might be a freshman. No, he's junior, but I think this is like his first start, like for a team. No, there's no way he was on LSU last year.
Was he a transfer?
No, because who the fuck did they have?
No, he wasn't. No, they didn't have him because they had like that left-handed guy.
Who did this dude play for?
That is not LSU.
I was just gonna look up the fucking
Arizona State. There it is.
Okay, so Arizona State sucked, but like I don't know, his last year, he threw 23, almost 2,400 yards, only 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Like, he's not a great quarterback, but I think he could be better. I think Brian Kelly can maybe improve him. Like, I think next year he'll be way, way better. And then, because they have so many weapons on the receiving core.
Oh yeah.
Like, they have NFL wide receivers at the receiver position, and he's just not fucking doing it. Granted, it's his first year in the system.
Also, that defense, like, they haven't looked like completely terrible. I mean, but this game they got blown out, which I think it speaks a lot to like Josh Heupel, like how he is offensively one of like the best offensive minds in the country.
That's
but,
crazy.
I mean, still,
it was a 50% win probability for Tennessee at the start of the game. Crazy. LSU had 2 turnovers. Got absolutely shit on in yards. Other than that, it was kind of close, but he didn't have a terrible stat line. Throw for 300. He's got more fucking passing yards than the hooker. I think this is a big thing here. The man has the most rushing yards on the team. It's QB with 38.
And that's not even that many yards. That's the sad part.
That's terrible. With 16 carries, like that's how you know like Tennessee's got a pretty good run defense. Maybe not so much the passing, but that run defense, 38 yards, like holy shit.
Let's see Jamir Gibbs run against that. Like,
yeah, fucking good luck. Shut up, Home Depot.
Hell of a performance by Tennessee. Tennessee is just like they win this weekend. Like Tennessee, like the hype for Tennessee is going to go through the roof if they win this weekend.
I'm so surprised with Tennessee.
They're almost like one of the teams I'm rooting for at this point. Like I would be pretty happy if they won.
I'll jump on the wagon. 100%. I'm for them. So,
I mean, we've talked about Tennessee a lot. We're hopping on the Tennessee bandwagon, just like the CJ Stroud. Let's see, what else did we have? Most disappointing performance by a team. Mine was Washington losing to Arizona State. Yeah, I could have picked that one. It would have been too easy.
I had to. One of us had to pick it.
Let's start with mine since that's gonna transition to the favorite team like easily.
100%.
So Washington, we saw them whoop the fuck out of Michigan State, and we think they're. I thought they were like a legit threat in the Pac-12. Then they go on to play UCLA. They lose. It wasn't like terrible.
This was your game?
Yeah. Washington getting kind of whooped by Arizona State, who Arizona State just fired her fired. Like 2 weeks ago.
No
and
head
then,
coach.
They're talking about like Michael Penix maybe winning Heisman early in the season. And he still played good, but I mean he threw it 53 fucking times though. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's like Big 12 numbers.
Like Jesus.
Yeah, he threw for almost double the yards as Arizona State's quarterback, but he's just better with his completions, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like Arizona State is not a good team. That's like the thing that like just puzzles me about Washington. Like Washington
That's
might
a,
be ass.
that's a solid stat line right there. 9 carries, 77 yards, 3 touchdowns.
That's pretty good. That's pretty fucking good.
And then this man, you can kind of tell they really relied on the run game here. And it seems like Washington was unable to stop him. And then probably down by the goal line, he was throwing. That's where he got all his TDs.
I mean, Washington's offense looked pretty good still, but their defense, like, holy shit, their defense does not look good for 2 weeks in a row.
84.5% win probability going to the game. I mean, it's pretty kind of close. I mean, yards, it's not too far off. Turnovers are even. Time of possession's pretty even. They had almost double the first downs. Like, I don't know how Washington didn't win this game.
And just against that level of a team, I mean, Washington, like, had they won this game and continued to win, they would only have one loss. I think they would still stay up in the 20-10 range.
Well, there was 21 before this, beating Arizona State. Like, I don't know. Say they do win that game.
They would have jumped Utah probably.
They were 21, so they were sitting here where Cincinnati's at. Where would you put them?
I wouldn't put them ahead of Kansas, but I would have probably had them right at 20 where Utah's
yeah,
sitting.
That's kind of what I was thinking. All these teams up here are better than them.
I mean, it's hard to, yeah, but I mean, Jesus. Team that was just high expectations, looking like trash. Like maybe they could win some shootouts against some good teams. I can see that, but their defense.
I can see them just upsetting like one of them top Pac-12 teams. I can
USC
see
or UCLA, something like that.
Yeah.
No, they already played UCLA. It's like USC or Oregon or some shit.
I could see it. Who?
UCLA was like we kind of.
All right, they got Oregon's really the only one, unless they make the Pac-12 championship, and then it'll be USC. So.
Yeah, so I mean, Oregon they could pull off an upset. I mean, hypothetically, they could win out. Like,
if they won out, they would need UCLA to lose at least 2.
Well, see, the Pac-12. I don't know if you saw this, but the Pac-12 doesn't have divisions anymore. It's just top two teams.
Yeah. Yeah. With that, I forgot about that. With 2 losses, there's not a chance. There's not a chance unless those 3 teams lose twice each.
Yeah, we could hop into your game.
Oh, brother.
Jesus.
I watched this whole game. This was one of the games I was actually excited for the weekend. I was expecting it to be a really good game, as it usually is. There's a lot of history in this game. A lot of history.
Yeah.
Like outside of Oklahoma State, this is OU's. Some people consider it like more of a rivalry than Oklahoma State. So take that for what you will. So there's a lot of history, a lot of bad blood. These 2 teams fucking hate each other. And man, was it not good. This is the first time OU's been shut out since 98. This is the largest margin of victory between these 2 teams for Texas. It was from fucking Jump Street. It was just not good for OU. Like, yeah, they gave up 1 touchdown in the first quarter. It was a reasonable game, and then second quarter starts, and it's just fucking hit downhill from there. It's like the training wheels came off for Texas, and they're like, all right. They started getting Quinn Ewers cooking. Bijan Robinson started getting rolling, and it was no coming back. It was a very disappointing performance from OU. I did not see it coming, even with Dalen Gabriel not playing. I did not expect this.
Yeah.
They should have taken this man threw 12 passes total,
38 yards. Like Jesus.
Just take him out. Like all they're doing is running the ball, and OU's top rusher only had 60 yards. Like, what the fuck? Just take him out. Put General Booty in. You know.
I mean, geez. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, so going into this game, I guess I'll get into my favorite team aspect of this. Yeah, then we can jump right into Florida State after this. Which will be just as fun of a conversation. So with this game, I mean, I thought it was going to be close. I didn't necessarily think we were going to win without Dylan. But I mean, even like at worst, I thought maybe like a 34 to like 14, like something like that. Like, you know, at worst, that's what I thought was going to happen. Holy shit. I mean, Davis Bevel is I don't want to go too hard on like a college kid, but like Davis Bevel is not it at quarterback. And
No.
my question for like OU is if Davis Bevel is so bad that you got to run the Wildcat like almost half the fucking game,
just take him out.
why not give somebody else a chance? Like I heard like Joe Booty and Nick Evers were not that good in practice, but it's like give them a game time shot at least. Give them a chance. Because if this man is so bad, you can't even line him. He's lining up at receiver most of the game and Wildcat.
You're already getting blown out. Like
stupid. But with I mean, so I am at peace with the fact that OU is in rebuilding mode. I'm cool with that. I'm content with that. I know a lot of OU fans are freaking out. They want Venables fired and all this stuff. Like I've pointed out a lot of examples, like Matt Rule going 1-11, and Nick Saban was like 7-6. Like it's gonna be fine. We're gonna rebuild. Brent Venables is a smart guy, regardless of what you guys think. He's a great coach. We're gonna get the right players. He doesn't have the right personnel, but with all that being said, like I do have faith in the program, but this is not acceptable to get beat by this margin against a rival. We can't be getting blown out every week. I do know we're not gonna compete for a championship. We might even have a losing record. That's all fine, given it's a rebuild situation, but you can't get blown out like this. It's not. There's no like. This is not the NFL. There's no benefit to losing. So
I just don't get how you guys were unable to score. That's my
Davis
thing.
Bevel out. Like holy shit! I don't understand why you're gonna leave him in the game. If you can't even trust him to throw the ball, you're lining Braden Willis up your tight end at quarterback a big chunk of the game, or you're doing direct snaps to Eric Gray or direct snaps to Marcus Major, or like literally doing anything but throwing the ball with Davis Bevel. Like if he's that bad, take him out. Like put Jalen Booty in, put Nick Evers in. Like
put the punter in.
Make Braden Willis the fucking quarterback for the game. I don't fucking care at this point. Like
anybody with a uniform on, you might as well start fucking. It's like a tryout at that point. What?
But with the defense, one thing I will say about the defense, I know people are freaking out about OU's defense and this and that.
They didn't give up though.
OU's defense is not any worse than last year. Last year in the Texas game, we gave up 48 points. We just had the offense to match it. The offense is the bigger issue with OU right now, in my opinion. Like our defense is not much worse. Like it wasn't good last year. It's not good this year. We got a lot of the same personnel. And then just transfer players who just like are unfamiliar with the system. Like it's not gonna like go great. But our defense is not really the issue. It's the offense. We got Dylan Gabriel coming back. I think we're gonna have a lot more
momentum
shootouts now. Like I think we're still gonna lose some games, but I think we'll lose like more of a shootout than just getting blown the fuck out.
You guys will actually be able to score. That's my big thing is like, how do you go a whole 4 quarters and not even get a field goal? Like that's insane to me. That's like almost like this team, like historically, like one of the better college teams of all time, and you can't get a field goal. Like that, that's just that to me. That I would be fucking furious as like a fan. Like that's just unacceptable. Like you said, like that's bad. Like if you guys didn't have Dylan Gabriel come in, like you guys would be fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy about it. Like I do understand we're gonna lose. I just want us to at least be somewhat competitive. Like at least look like we want to be there.
Right. I will say the defense though, they were trying. I don't think they really gave up. They were just on the field the whole fucking game.
Well, I mean, like if the offense is not like if the offense is just giving the ball right back, like what you're gonna like, tire out.
They I will say I don't think they quit. They tried. Like there's nothing you can do when you literally on the field the whole fucking game. You know, you probably at that point, like, you know, third quarter, all your fucking starters are completely gassed and you're putting backups in to really just give them time and they're getting fucking cooked because they're not the starters. So like I completely get it on the defensive front and you're going against Quinn Ewers. Like Like we've talked about earlier, the dude's the guy.
He's a great player. I mean, and like the thing with OU right now, like Brent Venables, he's a proven coach. Like he's proved himself at different situations. Jeff Lebby, I'm starting to have some question marks about as offense coordinator. He's not really making great decisions, and he like last year he was at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's a great offensive coach. Was Jeff Lebby really the reason the offense was so good, or was it Lane Kiffin?
Well, they also had Matt Corral, so like the dude went to the NFL.
So, and
That's
then
that's
like
another thing.
UCF. I mean, when he was at UCF, do you know who the head coach was? Josh Heupel. Like, was he good or was it Josh Heupel? Then when he was at Baylor, he was the offensive coordinator when Baylor was going crazy. I don't know the whole offense. I don't know if the head coach was an offensive coach at that point. Art Briles, I don't know if he's offensive minded, but it just seems like Jeff Lebby might be hiding behind more talented coaches.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I hope
kind
that's
of
not
like
the case. I hope it's not the case, but it's kind of looking that way.
I don't know. The more we talk about it, the more it's starting to seem that way. Unfortunately, for like I don't know. I think you guys should just move on from him after this year. Like, I mean, you came in, you give it a shot. See you.
Yeah, I mean, there's other guys that
Like you guys have the talent. Like, you guys have talent. Like it's not like you guys are a bottom feeder Big 12 team and you're like,
yeah.
oh fuck, we'll give it a couple years. Like, yeah, you're in a rebuilding year, like whether you like it or not, but it's still fucking OU. You guys still have talent. You still recruit some of the best athletes in the country, and you can't score a field goal. Like, I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised out of this game if they was like, all right, fuck, kick rocks.
Yeah, I mean, he's made. I'm curious to see how he comes out against Kansas because there was flashes in Texas where I thought he was doing some good things. Like okay, like the Wildcat was cool at first before I realized like oh he's just doing this because
That's
Bevel
all we have.
is nothing. Like at first I was like oh this is pretty smart, and then turns out Bevel can't throw. But I mean like some of the runs like throw that Wildcat in while you have Dylan Gabriel. Like really throw him off, and then like you have Dylan Gabriel who can actually throw like pretty decently. Like he's a above average quarterback, I would say.
I don't think they could have put him in if they wanted to.
No. I mean like next week, like
Okay,
against Kansas, like
gotcha.
run some Wildcat while Dylan
Yeah,
Gabriel is suited up. Like see how
yeah,
that works out. Like mix it up.
yeah. I would be interested to see that because I mean they're gonna have to do something against Kansas. Like they're not gonna be able to do this. I mean, granted, Dylan Gabriel is a fucking 100% improvement, but if he's not 100%, then they're gonna have to trick plays, maybe some a fake punt here, maybe a fake field goal.
And this is at home. Like they haven't been home in 2 weeks, 2 losses. Like this OU. Like I was at the K State game. Like this crowd is vicious. Like they are
It
not
could
going to
be
accept. They're going to be boo. They're going to be booing if like OU is like getting blown out.
it could be bad, man. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck they need to do. Like, it's definitely not good for y'all's recruiting either. Whether you really gotta hope that Venables and if y'all end up going a different way with the offensive coordinator, if you get somebody else in that's maybe hire a bigger name to bring some people in. I think this is definitely a knock on the recruiting for sure. This one game in particular. And if you guys go into OSU, which is probably the next biggest game on your guys' schedule, yeah, Kansas is big, but I think OSU is like you all could lose the rest of the games, but if you guys beat OSU, it's like almost a fucking win on the year.
I think I would be thrilled if we just spoiled OSU season. I think
Yeah, exactly.
that'd be
I think
great.
a lot of the OU fans are like, all right, you guys don't win another game, you beat OSU, and you don't like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody be like, okay, we fucking suck, but we beat OSU and we tanked them out of the fucking playoffs. Um, but I mean, if you guys don't, that's gonna be another knock. I don't know.
Yeah,
People are still gonna go to want to play for OU, especially on the defensive side with Venables. But
oh yeah, and then with them going to the SEC and being a historic program, we're gonna get players. It's gonna work out. I know some people think like Venables needs to be fired. He's the best thing to happen in this program. Like
that's
mark
the
my words.
dumbest. That is the dumbest thing they could do. Like hypothetically, they fire Venables right now.
Who are you gonna get? Like
Yeah, what the fuck are you gonna do? Who are you gonna move to the interim head coach?
you can put Jeff Levy up there. Like
And you're gonna really find out really really quick what the fuck he got going on. And I'm willing to bet like probably a couple months worth of pay that he ain't gonna be the guy. And then you're like, all right, fuck, we fired Venables. Now we got to fire this guy or drop him back down to where the fuck we
And
found
then
him.
you're not going to be able to, like, a big coach is not going to want to go there after you just fired a guy after 3 fucking games. Like, oh, well, I don't start off good. They're just going to get rid of me in a heartbeat. Like,
and or not like realistically, there's not a lot of really good head coaches just floating around waiting for a team. Like you got Urban Meyer, but he's probably going somewhere. You got Matt Rula, who's unless you fire Venables today, and then you're like Matt Rula, like yo, like that would have to be like an immediate thing because he just got fired like today.
yeah.
It's like that would have to be a today decision if that's what you wanted to do. And there's no guarantee he's even gonna go to your team. There's just not a whole lot of other options out there unless you wait till the end of the year, wait to see maybe who gets fired, and then if that's the way they wanted to go, which would be so stupid, so stupid.
It's just a dumbass thing, which we could transition into Florida State because Florida State had Norvell started off really rocky. Things are kind of turning around. I think you guys are still in a little bit of a rebuild mode, as kind of seen against NC State. This game was I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I got to watch kind of like the beginning and the end of it. And like defensively, you guys look great. Like I didn't really see a whole lot of flaws defensively. Offensively, some of the play calling was weird, and then just some of Jordan Travis's decision making towards the end wasn't very good. How was your experience as a fan watching this game?
Game really made me want to cry. Uh, fuck, I don't even know where to start, man. We we should be 6-0. Should be 100%. Like we have the team. We should be 6-0. Like, all right, yeah, Wake Forest, they're a great team. We fucking lost that game ourselves. Like we had, I think, 10 penalties for over 100 yards. Same thing this week. Over 10 penalties, or might have been 11 for over 100 yards. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are complaining about the calls against us and not being called against other teams, which is which is very fair. Like they are making petitions to the ACC about the refs that are refing our games, which are fucking horrendous. And yeah, some of those plays should not have been called like that. That hit on Devin Leary, they called that a roughing the passer when we fucking that dude got smacked. Uh, and it was because he was in the pocket in his throwing motion. Like, are you? Can you just not able to hit the fucking quarterback above the waist when he's in the pocket throwing the ball? Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do, man? It's not like they fucking smacked him in the fucking head with your helmet. Like it was, I thought it was a clean hit. It was a good hit in my opinion. So that really fucking fucked us on that drive. They got the first down, like 15 yards. The dude didn't get ejected. Like you're gonna call roughing the passer and not targeting when you're hitting him in the neck.
Yeah,
Like you know what I'm saying? Like is it either like what the fuck is it? Like what are we doing here? All the fucking holding calls, like it's starting to become a trend against us, and it's kind of fucked up. And yeah, the holding was the big thing against Wake Forest. Like they were calling strictly holding on us and not Wake Forest, and I watched so many plays where they were holding and just getting away with it. So that's my first thing is I don't think we were being fairly officiated in our games, and these two games were definitely winnable. We should be 6-0. This game, oh my fucking god, we was up 17-3 going in half. We had all the fucking momentum in the world. Like we were on the top, foot on the throat. Devin Leary's out. Come out of fucking halftime, and we're a whole different team.
yeah,
It's the team that was the first 3 quarters of the Wake Forest game. So like, there's like this Florida State team. There's three different teams. Like there's 3 of us. It's fucking like the first 4 games that we played. That's one team. We got another team that's the first 3 quarters of the Wake Forest game, the first half or the second half of this game, and then there's a third team that's like in between the 2 of those. And we like are fucking all over the place. Defense looked really good,
really good.
really good. I was all for it. Our fucking play calling was atrocious in the second half. We did not score a single point in the second half. Like not a fucking one. 17 all the way across. That's unacceptable. Mike Norvell, I love him as a head coach. He's the guy. He's our guy.
Yeah,
0% does not need to be fired. People were still calling for it. People were fucking smoking crack. We're the best team we've been in the last 8 years. This is the best we've been doing. We started out 4-0. We were 0-4 last year, the beginning of the season. That being said, I think he needs to fucking hire an offensive coordinator. The play calling he be calling is just fucking. It's basic. Like I could call better plays off a Madden playbook. Like realistically, like let me just pick a fucking random play on the suggested plays on Madden, and it'll probably work. And like, what the fuck is Jordan Travis doing?
That
Man,
last sequence, like you guys were like you were like I
I
don't want
think
to put this in the hands of the kicker, which I definitely get that, but it's like you
there's a
guys just needed a field goal to win.
there's a I think there's a lot that's going into that portion of that drive, right? So it's like a minute and a half left in the game, and we're on the 20. I think we're on the 25. Like we're in the red zone basically. It's like second down when he threw that interception, right? I think we had some timeouts. So yes, our fucking kicker is not the guy. I don't know why we're not holding open tryouts. If you're not gonna trust your kicker, like then just hold, find somebody, fucking
Yeah,
anybody.
go to the FSU soccer team. Like I don't know.
Hold a fucking open tryout on the campus and see what you might be able to round up. And they were saying the commentators like they do kicking competitions in practice, and he wins every fucking time. But you're not gonna let him kick the fucking field goal when we're down by 2. There's a minute and a half, and we're in the red zone, and we have timeouts. Just run the ball twice. Maybe you get a first down. Just fucking run it. Like, yeah, we weren't able to really run the ball very well outside of Jordan Travis. Like, we were not able to run the ball really at all. Like, we were getting big chunk plays, but like, we're not consistently able to run the ball against this defense. NC State has a good defense. Not knocking them on that. This right here is also fucking unacceptable. Why is this man only got 2 fucking receptions? This dude is 6'7". I don't care
Wait,
who the fuck's on him.
how many targets did he get?
Probably
I don't know if that's a stat they
probably a
show.
few. Uh,
Might not be a stat they actually.
I don't know. He got targeted a few times, but like, yeah, the man, he's probably our best receiver, so he's mostly double covered. But I don't give a fuck. If you throw the ball where he can get up and get it, he's gonna fucking moss anybody. Like the dude's 6'7". Throw the fucking ball to your best receiver. That just doesn't make sense. That he's only got 2 receptions for 60 yards. And that last play where Jordan Travis did the interception into the end zone, he floated it to the fucking the other team. I don't know what the fuck that was. It looked like Pittman like stopped short expecting it, sooner. I don't know if it was like a miscommunication between him and Travis. Travis expecting him to like like a curl or some shit, and I think Travis was expecting like a fade to the fucking
Yeah.
pylon or the back of the end zone. Um, it's I don't even know what to say about that. It was like play calling. It's bad. What the fuck are we doing? Just I would much rather have us kick the field goal and miss than throw a fucking interception with plenty of time on the clock when we could have just ran the ball.
Well, you can't like in that situation where you're only 2 points behind. You're pretty much in the red zone. Why would you put the ball in danger? Like, there's no reason to do it.
Just run it.
Like, roll the
If
dice
you
with your
throw it,
kicker before you just throw a fucking prayer up and
yeah. And why are you throwing it to Michael Pittman in the end zone? Throw it to Johnny Wilson. The dude's 6'7". Like I just fucking said. Like I would get if we ran the ball on second down, third down, and now it's fourth down, and now you want to take a shot, maybe, or like you know what I'm saying. But I am so frustrated. I think Norvell needs to relinquish the play calling. It's kind of pedestrian. It's not great. It could be a lot better. We have an offense. We really do. We have really good wide receivers. Trayshawn
quarterback.
Warren's Trayshawn Warren's probably hurt, so now we're down to 2 running backs, but we still have 2 badass running backs. We have a really good QB. Like he's miles ahead of where he was. Um, it's I think the play calling is bad. Our offensive line's holding up. Usually it's our offensive lines that's been our biggest complaint for like the last fucking 8 years. But offensive line's holding up. They're doing what they need to do. We got our left tackle back. Defense is coming back. They're good. we had like 6 fucking injuries in that game on the defense. I think 5 of them were on defense and Trayshawn Ward. Like it's like we were cursed. It almost seems like for injuries. I'm so fucking frustrated. So fucking frustrated. Like I'm sick. I'm sick.
Yeah, I mean,
we should be 6-0, man.
Yeah, I mean the play calling wasn't great. There were times earlier in the season where the play calling wasn't bad, but I do think Norvell's strengths more so lie with like his leadership qualities and
100%.
Motivational, and like he's a good recruiter from the looks of it. Maybe not so much play calling, or at least he needs to maybe get like a co-offensive coordinator, or just more guy, or just somebody just to design plays a little bit better. But I mean, overall, I mean, FSU is not in a bad situation.
No, we're really not. Like this is. I'm happy with 4-2. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not ungrateful for it. By all means, like look at our school, look at our schedule fast. All right, that's an automatic dub. A lot of people thought this should have been a loss. And arguably, we should have won bigger after seeing that game. A lot of people thought we was gonna lose to Louisville. It was I think it was a Friday night game on the road.
Yeah.
Louisville has a great quarterback, so that could have been a loss. So we could have been 1-2 here. Yeah, this is on automatic dub. So we're sitting at 2-2 hypothetically if we're really not where we are as a team, maybe without Norville. Yeah, this would have been an automatic loss. So we would be at 2-3, 2-4, 2-5, 3-5. A lot of people thought we was going to lose to Miami, so that's like 3-6, 3-7, 4-7, 5-8. So like, before the season, a lot of people looking at the schedule was like, oh, 5-6 wins tops, and we're already almost matching that. So like, I am. Don't get me. I'm not upset with what we got going on. I'm mad because I know we are better than this. Like I've seen we are better than this. I know without a shadow of a doubt we should be 6-0. That's what makes me so mad is like we have that potential and we're like shooting ourselves in the fucking foot like these last 2 games. Like honestly, mainly it's the penalties. That's the hugest thing, and that's been our problem for a long time. Is penalties and people doing dumb shit. We're not necessarily doing as much dumb shit, like the late hits and so like just the egregious penalties that we would normally get. It's more so like now it's fucking shit that shouldn't be called, or stuff that's getting called on us that's not getting called on the other team. So like,
yeah, I mean, there's a chance for redemption against Clemson. I think Clemson's defense has shown some signs of weakness. Like we don't know. I mean, the NC State game they looked good, but NC State's offense really hasn't looked good the past few weeks. I think
Clemson has a better defense than NC State. And their offenses has improved. I really think we can win this game. It depends what team shows up. If it's these 2 teams, no chance. If it's these 2 teams, yeah, I think we can win. Or really these 3 teams, the 3 teams in these 3 games right here. Yeah, 100%. I think we can win.
I think it could be close. I mean, but like
if it comes down to a kick, like, are we gonna fucking kick the field goal or?
You would think as a coach, you'd learn from a mistake like that, or you're just one of those coaches that's gonna do the same thing every time. You don't know.
I don't know, man. I'm very frustrated. I honestly, I think if Devin Leary didn't get hurt, I think we win. He was not playing good. We was shutting him the fuck down, and then their backup comes in and starts just running on us. It was a completely different guy, and I don't think we were ready for it. So that didn't help either. Like Devin Leary was having a really, really bad game. We were all over them. So we got out coached 100%. We got out coached in the second half. That's another thing. Like I don't know if it was on Norvell or, and then that last drive, like we could not fucking stop their run. Like they brought their backup in. I think he threw like 6 times. They were only running the ball, and we just couldn't stop. Like we know you were running the ball, and they're just like, all right, cool, yeah, we're running the ball. Hey, we'll show you our play real quick. It's like when you're playing Madden and you hold like the fucking L2 button, you're playing split screen, and the other player can see your play, and you still beat the shit out of them. Like that's exactly
Yeah.
what they did to us. Like 100%. We knew what they're just running it, and we're just like, okay, we're still gonna kind of show up in a pass coverage, and we'll blitz like a linebacker, I guess. Fucking
Yeah.
horrendous. And a lot of people think
Ridiculous.
Adam Fuller should be fired, our defensive coordinator, and like I am kind of for it. I don't think he's the reason our defense is good. I think it's our defense is why we're good. He's not that great. I don't like him. A lot of people think we should fire him and like promote fucking like Alex Atkins like defensive coordinator of some or you know because he's going to get recruited super heavily for some head coaching job. He's our offensive line coach, and he's like one of our biggest recruiters. And I'd be cool fucking I don't know if he's got any defense experience or if we need to promote him up to like offensive coordinator or something, but we need to do something if we want to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, if you got a young talent like that, you got to at least give him some. Because I mean, if he's or I don't know if he's young, but he sounds young.
He's kind of old. He's an older dude.
And damn, he ain't ever been a head coach.
I don't know. I don't know if that's him.
Currently, the offensive coordinator.
All right, so he was
I mean, he's not super.
I don't. So they have him as an offensive coordinator, but I don't think he's really calling our offensive plays. I think it's Norvell.
Usually, when it's OC/O line, I mean, you're like a co-coordinator.
No head coaching jobs. So no other big schools other than us. And yeah, we gotta do something. There's no way he's calling the plays. You can fucking tell it's Mike Norvell because it's the same shit fucking almost every week. We got stupid ass wide receiver screens and slants and runs up the middle. Like you were getting stuffed running up the middle every time. Stop running up the middle. Just fucking run it outside. Do a read option. Do a fucking pitch. Do a counter. Do something. Not up the fucking middle, right to the strength of their defense. Like that was another frustrating thing that game. Like when we run on the ball, it's straight up the middle. It's
Well, that's a problem because that just shows because you'll see this often where a coach will just stick to the same thing even though it's not working. They just don't want to deviate and make adjustments and adapt to the game. That's especially in offense. That's a huge problem with coaches just not. We're gonna stick to our game plan the whole time. Well, sometimes you gotta switch. You gotta just throw some shit out and see if it works.
that's what I'm saying. We got out coached the second half. Like NC State's coach went to halftime into the locker room and came out and fucking did what he needed to do. And Norvell, it really didn't. I don't know what the fuck happened in the locker room, but I'm sure he was in there motivating him because I mean it's not like we came out and was just like, man, we don't really want to be here. But it's like the offense didn't want to fucking be there, obviously, because we didn't score a fucking single point. Jordan Travis was kind of completely different. It's
Yeah. This is
I don't know.
a good transition to coaches on the hot seat. Do you have any big
I
ones?
I've had the same two for a minute, and as it's going on, it's increasingly getting closer. I still have fucking Mario Cristobal from Miami. They lost again this week. And then I got Brian Harson for Auburn. He
I have Brian
might be,
Harson as well. How is he still not like? How's he not fired yet?
he's probably going to be gone before the next game because they was already talking about firing him. I think 2 weeks ago, and then they ended up.
He's been on the
It
hot seat
was
since the season started.
before the Missouri game. They was talking about firing him like right before the game started. They ended up winning, so I was like, oh, that was like, all right, he won a game. Well, they shouldn't have won, and then they get fucking blown out by Georgia. Whether or not they're like, okay, it was Georgia, one of the better teams in the league, so we'll cut you some slack. But And then Shane Beamer squeaked his way off the fucking hot seat, upsetting Kentucky.
Yeah, he got out of it.
But and then I think Jimbo Fisher is sitting there, but
he's my two, or he's like the only one of two that I have.
I just don't think they can afford to fire him. They just reasonably can't with how much they're paying him, the contract size he has, and how well he's recruited. I just don't think they can do it. Not yet.
I think I don't know if he'll get fired this season, but those boosters in Texas, man, like if they don't get what they want soon, he's out of there. Like this was a team was preseason ranked 6. Most people, I think a few guys on ESPN had like preseason projected like playoff.
Next
complete
week,
disappointment.
Next week could be his, or not next week. Next year could be his last year. If they don't, I think they'll give him a pass this year, or however well they end up doing. Because they had the number 1 recruiting class like in the history of fucking college football this year. So you had all these players coming in. Next year is when you got to see something. So I think he could end up getting fired some portion of next year if they start being shit, or at the end of the year if they have another bad record. That's just my opinion. Did you have anybody different other than Jimbo Fisher?
No, I just had Jimbo Fisher and Brian Harsin. I was looking up a few other guys that are maybe kind of sitting there. Louisville's coach, Satterfield, I believe is his name. They won, but I guess he's kind of sitting on the hot seat. He's getting pretty close, I guess.
Honestly, I feel like maybe Utah's coach. I don't know how really they feel about it. Michigan State's coach.
Well, Michigan State's coach, I think, didn't they just hire him, or like?
I think they did, but he's got higher expectations than he's been doing. Boston College's coach, I know he's on the hot seat. I don't know his name, but
Boston College is like are they the worst team in the ACC right now? If they're not, they're close to it.
I think they 2-4. How do I look up fucking
like ACC conference standings? Or I don't know if it'll just have that.
I know where to go. I just can't remember what it is.
Stand. No, that might not. Yeah, there we
go. Or maybe we got a standing.
Yeah, it's got them all lined. Yeah.
Oh, you got Louisville, ESU, Boston College, and Virginia down there.
Virginia, damn.
I mean, yeah, they could fucking easily. A lot of these teams really, unless they are really like in love with the guy that they got, or they're not really even expecting to like be good, and then they just don't really care. Like Boston College, like that's not a team that you're gonna want to go to and expect to like win. Like that's like kind of an academic school.
Yeah, I mean, aside from like the years they had Matt Ryan, they really haven't.
Yeah, Boston College is kind of like a fucking soccer lacrosse school. That's really a lot of ACC teams. It's like, what the fuck did I just do? They're really not football schools. They're basketball, fucking lacrosse, soccer, like track and field, shit like that, rowing, all kinds of dumb shit. So if you're not out of the these teams right here, and North Carolina and Pitt, Miami, but we don't talk about Miami. They don't exist to me.
Miami is just like, I don't think Cristobal is going to get fired this year just because I don't know what condition the team was when he took over. He could be in like a Venable situation where the team is just like drained.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman, I remember we were talking about him kind of on the hot seat. He's completely got himself out of that. I think he is Notre Dame's guy.
Yeah, 100%. He's the team, like the team guy. Like I said, they chose him. Like I think he's got the support of the players. That's really like the biggest thing.
Yeah, and he's young. I mean, he's gonna be fine. Notre Dame recruiting is gonna be easy there because it's Notre Dame.
Agreed. I will say one more thing about FSU. Because we're talking about ACC.
Yeah.
Going forward, I will be happy if we could lose to Georgia Tech, Syracuse, and Louisiana. But if we beat Clemson, Miami, and Florida, I'm fucking golden. Like we could like I said, we can lose all those teams. If we beat those three, or at least two of the three, arguably, if we beat Miami and Florida, I'm happy. If we lose the rest of the games, I'm cool with that. Just because fuck them, that's why. I fucking hate Miami and Florida.
Yeah, I mean Florida. I think you guys might have Florida. I mean Florida, but I mean Anthony Richardson. He's a wild card. Like you don't know what you're gonna get from him. His draft stock has dropped quite a bit. He's
tough
projected more to be like late first round now.
I think he's one of those guys that's like really tough to like game plan for, like because you don't know is he gonna be fucking killing you in the pass? Is he locked in, or is he gonna be throw like 5 for fucking 20 and run for 300 yards or some astronomical fucking dumb shit?
Those two-way, like those are the most frustrating teams to play,
so
where they
annoying.
got a two-way quarterback that can just, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like OU's defense has really been terrible against those types of guys.
That shit's so
OU's defense.
frustrating.
Another thing on OU's defense, like I swear to God, it'll be 3rd and 15, and you just know they're gonna fucking blow this.
Yo,
3rd and longs, just in general, regardless, they're just the most frustrating thing when you blow a 3rd and long. But,
yeah, I that that might be one of the worst fucking things about football. Like when you blow a 3rd and long, or like they don't make it and you fucking commit a penalty and you're like an automatic first down type penalty. And you're just
oh yeah,
like a late hit or a roughing the fucking passer.
unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, oh my God, why did you do that?
I really just want to run out there and fucking uh
Unsportsmanlike conduct, man, that's the worst. Like it's it's because it's so preventable.
yeah, 100%.
But like we're pretty much concluded. I think we've gone through all our
We
topics.
got no, we got one more. We got comeback performance of the
Oh
week.
yeah, comeback. Yeah.
I got Georgia. I know they didn't lose last week, but they arguably might have should have. They played a really bad game against Missouri, and I think if it was any other team playing like that, they would have lost. But Georgia's got enough talent, and they got a good coaching staff to where they can afford to have a lot of those mistakes and still win or still find a way to win. And then they come back and like one of the oldest rivalries in college football and just beat the ever living shit out of Auburn. That's comeback worthy for me.
No, I definitely think it's good performance.
We really haven't decided whether like a comeback performance has to be like coming back from a loss yet.
Oh no, because I did the same thing but with a different team. They didn't lose.
Yeah, we might have to just set a standard going forward, whether or not we really give a shit. But they played in an excellent game. There was 0% chance of them losing the game in probability. Stetson Bennett didn't play super good.
Hasn't thrown a touchdown in like 3 weeks.
He's really killing his Heisman campaign. He's killed it. I don't think there's any chance he wins it unless he's throwing for 500 yards and like 5 touchdowns a game from here on out.
His yards aren't terrible, but yeah, I mean he hasn't thrown a touchdown I think in 3 weeks. I might be wrong, but I don't think he has.
He's really not needing to, like who the fuck's scoring on this team if he's got no passing touchdowns and the rushing leader has 1 touchdown? Like 1-yard run, a 1-yard run from 2 different guys, 2-yard run. That's 2 different guys. Stetson Bennett ran for 64. Okay, this guy's got 3 touchdowns, and then yes, I got like 5 different players scored touchdowns that game. It's only one of them Stetson Bennett, and that's 64-yard runs. That's pretty spicy, but still, he doesn't need. He's kind of game managing almost at this point. Like he don't really need to go out there and be that guy, and I think he's kind of cool with that. I don't think he's really feeling the pressure that he's gonna have to go out there and sling the ball and go crazy and make these crazy plays, and he can rely on his offense to do what they need to do.
Well, it's like he's surrounded by talent. It's like CJ Stroud. Even if he wasn't throwing these crazy numbers, Ohio State would be doing fine because they just got like an NFL level offense.
They have a better offense. That dude has to fucking be slinging it. Their receiving core is insane. And Smith and Jigba has not played like half the season, which is insane. And they were missing that fucking running back. Was it Mijan? I don't know what the fuck his name. He was in my
Play of the
top
week last
players.
week or something.
Yeah, top players the last week, and he didn't even play. Yeah, him and Jigba didn't play this week, and they just went fucking nuts. Still,
He's all. I mean,
like,
they got like an endless supply of receivers. It's kind of nuts.
it's fucking insane. Ohio State is wide receiver university.
On top of that, you got C.J. Stroud. He's going to be the number one overall pick. That's who I've been seeing a lot. Like C.J. Stroud is pretty much like I feel like the favorite to be number one. Like Bryce Young's like 2, and then you got Levis, whatever his name is from Kentucky. He's like a top however many. There's a few. There's like some guys I hadn't even heard of that were like projected to go pretty high. I'm like, oh, interesting.
Projection. Let's see what we got going on. Let's just fucking see what this is. Never heard of it, but let's see.
This is the side I actually usually go to.
I've never been on the flip side, but fuck out of here. Yep, CJ Stroud going to the Texans. That'd be very interesting. I guess we can fucking, if we're done with NFL or college football, we can roll kind of into
we
this.
Could jump into some draft stuff.
Did you have it? Who was your comeback performance? Sorry, we completely skipped that.
So mine was not even a team that lost, and it's really just a comeback for this whole season with South Carolina. Pretty much been asked this whole year, and finally getting a worthy win against Kentucky. Like, yeah, they've strung some wins together, but I mean, look, who are they playing? Charlotte, SC State, like.
Oh yeah, let's see. Georgia State, lost to Arkansas, got blown out by Georgia. 2 fucking was that FCS schools?
Yeah, and then you get a good win, and then they got Texas A&M. Like they could win that game
on the road against Kentucky. That might be really the momentum that they need to do to knock off Texas A&M. I think they can easily beat Missouri and Vanderbilt. I don't think they'll win either of these 3 games, but this is a big decent rivalry for them. So anything can happen, but I don't know. But yeah, nobody fucking seen this coming. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean Spencer Rattler still didn't.
Yeah, he didn't really do shit.
There was actually talk before this game of like Spencer getting benched, which is just a fall from grace because like he was the projected number 1 overall pick going into last season. Heisman favorite. Like they're gonna have to make a 30 for 30 about this dude.
Yeah, I would watch it. And Kentucky was favored 77.1% to win the start of the game. And then fucking dusted. Did they ever? So they were tied, and then they just never came back. Like they didn't score more than 1 touchdown until the 4th quarter. Like that's just bad. That's real bad. Oh, Will Levis. That's why. What the fuck happened to him?
Oh yeah. Was he out from that finger injury?
He might have been. Yeah. That's okay. Well, that's why they lost. They don't got Will Levis.
Yeah, I didn't actually like watch the game, so yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I just kind of saw the score, and I was just like, "Whoa, South Carolina, that's kind of nuts."
I mean, the backup didn't do too bad, but it's not fucking. If they had Will Levis, I think it'd have been a different story. That dude's dog.
South Carolina has them like that's the most deceiving 4-2. I feel like in all of college football.
100%.